loyalty for the national championship is coming.
How do we prepare better?
Everybody needs to have more mental energy and intensity.
Yeah. You know, Bama and the Buckeyes, they've been around for a while now. Not sure if they have much left to prove. Yeah, they do.
I look at me now, I'm thinking, damn, how proud of me I am. What I did is nothing to sneeze at, even if your allergies are bad.
Talk about guts, Justin Fields.
I look around, I see the fans, how they surround me in the stands, how they get drowned and see your hands, they holler at
This team.
How did they get here? Focus, formula. In a season of separation, preparation, staring down fate, forging ahead, they could have surrendered. They took no prisoners instead.
Yet.
Where am I supposed to go from here?
I don't see this team losing.
So much strength and pride, power and self-belief. And in these teams, both run so deep. Bands of brothers, on the field and in the history books.
We all came here to play, and we got something to prove.
One shot to get that crown. For these teams, nothing is higher.
Time to push my ceiling higher, cause
Ohio State national champions for the 8th time. The Crimson Tide will not be denied. Alabama back on top.
It'll never get old. They ain't gonna go away. We have to put them away. Yeah, we work for this. We work so hard for this.
As Eminem says, let's get down to business. The College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Miami's Hard Rock City. The SEC champion, undefeated, top-seeded Alabama Crimson Tide. And the third-seeded champions of the Big Ten, Ohio State Buckeyes. This is the AT&T 5G pregame showcase. Alabama rolling through 10 SEC games, tested only by Florida and Atlanta. They crushed Notre Dame. Ohio State finally put together a complete performance, beating Clemson by 3 touchdowns. And welcome to Championship Monday and the finish line of a season that almost wasn't. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, you know the story, all the confusion, all the chaos, all the challenges for the players and the coaches, and that's why folks on both sides said if they are the last team standing when the confetti is falling tonight, the championship emotions are going to be overpowering, perhaps unique to this year, Kirk, because of what it took to get here and what it took out of it.
Yeah, and I don't really think it's a great time to just celebrate college football for this entire year. These two teams have been able to get here. They're at the championship, and you're right. It's a historic year. We'll remember this for a long time for many reasons, and especially tonight. These two blue bloods, these brands on the field together. May the best team win.
Grateful to be here. Is it greedy to ask for a classic finale? The ingredients are there. You got offensive firepower on both sides. Alabama's offense, the best in school history, one of the best in college football history. They have the Heisman Trophy winner, DeVonta Smith, congratulated by his quarterback, Mac Jones, who finished third. Trophy winners all over the place on that offense.
Yeah, they've had a big week in that regard individually, but the thing you got to be impressed with DeVonta Smith and really the entire Crimson Tide is they put that to the side. It's all about tonight. It's all about climbing this mountain and winning a championship. Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator who's headed to Texas to become the head coach tomorrow, does a good job with the RPO game. His quarterback, Mac Jones, will feel it. You overload Najee Harris in the run game, look out. They'll get space on the outside to DeVonta Smith, something that Ohio State has to be aware of. Pre-snap movement. He's just trying to get an indicator. What are you going to do? This time Notre Dame doesn't move. They've got 2 blockers out in front of DeVonta Smith. And again, there's that space that Ohio State will try to take away by leveraging the football. It's the thing also I think has been impressive. And DeVonta Smith's willing to do this. Be a decoy. He takes the corner. He takes the safety with him. They flood the zone. There's nobody left. And there's Billingsley, a very talented young tight end, all alone in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. So I think that this offense with Sark, so creative. How's Ohio State try to defend it? I think it's more of a bend but don't break kind of philosophy. Try to keep the ball in front of you. Try to squeeze in the red zone. Force them to field goals and not touchdowns.
Tommy Togiai, Tyreek Smith, 2 starting linemen for Ohio State are out of this game. They have some backups that come back. But can the Ohio State offense match the Tide touchdown for touchdown? They got a prolific crew as well. Justin Fields, that crunching hit that he took 10 days ago in the semifinal win over Clemson, missed 1 play, came back in, tossed 6 touchdowns. But Kirk, he told us on Friday, only about 70%. They'll have to manage the pain and maybe manage the risks tonight.
Yeah, well, if he's managing the risk, that would be a concern for Ohio State. They need him to be able to be the athlete that he is. He's a dual threat. He throws from the pocket. He also is a runner. You can see what he did last week. 6 touchdowns against Brent Venables' defense in Clemson. I think it starts really, as much as we want to talk about the skill, the offensive line, how physical and dominating they were against Clemson. We've got to see that early to establish Trey Sermon, who's been on fire the last 3 or 4 games. If you get that going, that sets everything else up. They love to combine the physicality of the running game with a vertical passing game. They look for matchups and ways to get by and hit those creases to Chris Olave, number 2. If he can get matched up one-on-one, Ohio State's confident he can get by the Alabama corners. This is what I talked about, Chris. This is a design rollout to throw the ball, a levels concept, but he also has the opportunity to take off, pick up a few blocks, and pick up a first down. You got to see that tonight from Ohio State, and Alabama's very concerned about his legs. We'll have to watch his health.
Ryan Day calls the plays, trying to win a championship in his 25th game at Ohio State. Nick Saban go for his 7th national title. It would put him past Paul Bryant. Great to have both Maria Taylor and Allison Williams on the sidelines tonight. Maria's with the Buckeyes.
Well, Chris, you mentioned it, that Justin Fields returned to practice on Thursday and felt about 70%. The final report I got from an Ohio State official was that he's at 95% right now, that he can make every throw, he can make every single run. But the question is, how will he respond once he is hit? He's got a special rib protector. He'll have extra padding on that hip. We'll see how that injury progresses throughout this game. Now let's check in with Alabama and Allison Williams.
Hey there, Maria. I am told Alabama receiver Jalen Waddle will play tonight despite having surgery just 11 weeks ago on his fractured right ankle. He will be limited to the routes that he is comfortable with. Coaches had about 90 minutes to go through the game plan and figure out how they can best utilize him, but he is confident he can help this team. Chris, that is a huge addition to this Alabama offense.
It sure is, Allison. If he's more than a decoy, if he can actually be a weapon, that remains to be seen. Countdown to kickoff from Miami, but now for an interview powered by AT&T 5G Holovision and David Pollack.
We all know it's a jinx.
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
This is a special presentation of ESPN, home of the College Football Playoff National Championship game, presented by AT&T.
Promise, no matter what happens, you stick together because you love the guy next to you. Everybody, man, if you hop in that car with me, you better be riding. Let's go to work, man.
Fields delivering a performance that's going to live forever.
Hey, y'all, boys, let's go.
Serve it in the clear. Touchdown. What you do, speak so loudly, it don't matter what you say. It matters what you do.
Players on neither side came to their schools to get to the game. They came to win the game. Welcome back to the AT&T 5G pregame showcase. Alabama's seniors trying to bookend their careers with championships they won as freshmen in 2017. Tide are 9-point favorites, but the Buckeyes relish the underdog role once again. Just their 8th game. Ryan Day say it would be one of the great stories in the history of the sport if they can win. And here come the SEC champions. Crowd of 14,000 dispersed both the lower and upper decks. Monte Smith, one of those seniors. Mac Jones in his first full year as a starter back in his home state. Grew up in Jacksonville. Saw that Tide offensive line most decorated in the sport. And Ohio State inspired because not many trophies on their side. Incredible. It's 5 months to the day since the Big Ten teams were told fall football season is canceled. You don't think they're relieved and overjoyed and grateful to be here?
This was the focus for Ryan Day all along, through all that. Keeping his team focused not just on Clemson, put on the national championship.
Performance for the ages from that young man against the Clemson Tigers. Can he duplicate it? Might need to. Toughness not in question, but execution under a premium. And Mac Jones, a little wry smile, understudy of Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, the young guy on that championship team in 17. Now he is the pilot of this offense. Shaun Wade, who was toasted by the Clemson Tigers, faces a serious challenge tonight against this Alabama receiving corps. Expect early fireworks. Both offenses, Kirk, known for fast starts, to say the least.
Ohio State feels confident that they can score with Alabama, and we're about to find out.
Big 12 crew will officiate this game, as they did the Clemson-Ohio State game. Brandon Cruz, the referee, and he's got the coin toss for us.
Captains, welcome and congratulations on the opportunity to play the College Football Playoff National Championship. Mr. Dickerson, Mr. Borland, this is the umpire, Marlo Fitzgerald. My name is Brandon Cruz. I'll be your referee. Ohio State will call the toss. Heads will be the trophy side, and tails will be the stadium side. What's your call?
Stadium.
Stadium for tails. Call is tails. It's heads, Alabama wins the toss. Defer. You want the football?
Yes.
Which way do you want to kick?
I want to kick that way.
Place your backs to your goal lines, please. Alabama has won the toss. Will defer their option to the second half. Ohio State will receive the football at this goal line. Let's have an awesome national title game.
Landon Dickerson, who's the injured center representing the Tide as a captain, fully dressed tonight. Maria.
All right, Coach, you've dealt with a lot of adversity all season long, and tonight is no different. You have to go without key defensive linemen, your quarterback's dinged up, and guys on special teams. How do you clear this last hurdle for a national championship?
We talked to the guys in the locker room. This is why you come to Ohio State. Play for national championship. So throw all that other stuff out the window. Let's just go compete for 60 minutes, and let's go win the whole thing.
All right, thanks for your time, Coach. Allison?
Thank you, Maria, here with Coach Saban. Coach, you told your team at the beginning of this unprecedented season, the team that handles the challenges the best will have the most success. How do they need to handle their final challenge?
Well, we're soon to find out, but they seem like they're in the right place, so, we'll see how we play. We just got to play with discipline. Everybody's got to do their job and execute like we've done all year.
Coach Saban, thank you so much. Chris, back to you.
Saban has split his 4 appearances in the CFP championship game. The 2 wins over Clemson and Georgia have been razor-thin margins.
Telling Allison, do your job, execute, do what you know.
Will Reichert, sophomore kicker, has been perfect on his PATs and field goals. He'll boot it away. Demario McCall, deep for Ohio State. We'll see Justin Fields in the Buckeyes offense momentarily. Get a quick look at number 1 and what he can do tonight. Savor the moment. Crimson Tide and the Buckeyes for the championship of this most challenging, surreal season. And McCall will make a fair catch. And here comes Justin Fields, losing just once as a starter. They avenged that loss at the hands of Clemson, 20-1, smashing records in his basically season and a half. But look what he did against Clemson. We talked about the 6 touchdown passes sandwiched around that big hit.
Yeah, the big hit showed so much courage, led his team, and everybody wants to see. He said he's 95% most recently. You just heard that report from Maria. Anxious to see how he moves around in the pocket and is involved in the run game and the creativity, which is so important tonight for Ohio State's offense.
Trey Sermon, 524 yards rushing in the last 2 games. Gets the first carry, makes a cut, and is met right at the line of scrimmage by Christian Harris for Alabama. Players to watch for the Buckeyes have the football game.
Yeah, of course, it's Trey Sermon. He's had such great games here over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Olave to be able to get vertical. Dylan Moses, 32 in the middle. That Alabama defense is the leader, gets everybody lined up. And Patrick Surtain, one of the top corners. He's physical, but can he run with Olave when he's on an island and Garrett Wilson?
On 2nd and 8, pressure off the edge, and the ball is batted down. Coming off the edge there and knocking the ball down was Brian Branch, freshman.
Yeah, they walked him up right here, right over the tight end, and then you end up seeing him coming free on that blitz. Sermon gets out. It just needs to go over top of him, and he's got a little bit of room to work with.
The Buckeyes face a 3rd and long. Master Teague, who missed the semifinal game, back healthy tonight in the ball game. Fields looking for some space, and he'll be tripped up from behind. Had a chance to make the first down, but Christopher Allen grabbed it, shoots up, and Ohio State goes 3 and out.
They got a push in the inside, the edge pressure. You're going to see him come here, and that's okay for Justin Fields. He's going to step up, but then he starts to feel pressure from the inside. Then he tries to get away from it. Nobody open downfield, and eventually Allen gets him down. Good coverage downfield there on that 3rd down.
Now Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, back to receive the punt of Drew Chrisman. You punt to him at your own peril, and Smith will retrieve, but that is tremendous coverage. Flying down there to make the tackle, Jamison Williams. Great job.
Well, this is a big part of this game is Devontae Smith trying to make plays. Ohio State very, very aware of that. The fastest receiver that Ohio State has is Jamison Williams getting downfield and making that play.
So we'll see this Alabama offense, highest scoring in the country. Mac Jones, 4.0 student, got a couple of college degrees, won the Davy O'Brien Award and the Johnny Unitas Award, 3rd in the Heisman Trophy. And it'll eye candy, but it's incomplete. It was off the hands of John Mechie. Pete Werner delivered the hit. Mac Jones, 1 year as a starter. Came in and lit it up. Incredibly consistent. Just a tremendous knowledge of the game. Fast eyes, says Steve Sarkisian. That's his best asset.
Yeah, he processes things quickly, looks at the numbers, and has 2 plays, generally every play, run or pass.
Gets the ball to Smith in traffic, and Devontae flashes the speed, gets around the corner, and creates a first down before Williamson stops him.
That looked like one of the plays we had in the open because they get you out in space, and watch Mechie picks up a nice block on the outside on Banks, gets just enough of him, maybe gets away with a little bit of a tug of the jersey, but the acceleration, I think it's the area that Devontae Smith has improved the most. He used to be a guy that could get downfield. Now he's so dangerous after the catch.
106th catch in his Heisman season. Far and away the leader in catches, yards, and touchdown receptions.
Little confusion there.
Jones dumps it down. Catch made by Najee Harris, who makes a cut, breaks a tackle, and barrels into Ohio State territory. We had our eyes on the ankle of Harris Kirk in the pregame because it was a little gimpy looking.
Yeah, now look at this. Trey Sermon, speaking of gimpy, after the first series, he's in the Ohio State locker room. It's a big story right there. He has been instrumental in this run these last 3 or 4 weeks to Ohio State, running the football. Master Teague, who missed last week, is back. I'm sure we'll see.
Keep you posted on that development as Harris being dragged down after about a 3-yard gain. Maria.
Yeah, Trey Sermon came off and he was grabbing his left shoulder and he could not raise his arm up. He kept trying to move his fingers and see how it was doing, and the athletic training staff walked him right out back into the locker room, guys. So obviously keeping an eye on that, and we'll let you know when he returns and if he returns to the field.
That's just his only carry, Maria, on the night. Helms came in there and hit that left shoulder.
I'm going to start for Ohio State. Tide on the move here, 2nd and 8. Harris picks his way to the right, patiently gets the corner, and just barrels over Shaun Wade. Another first down inside the 30.
Yeah, you've got to be able to set the edge. And this time, Jean-Baptiste 8 does not do that on the outside. He takes the step, kind of hesitant, gets overpowered by Evan Neal, who's 6'7", 360, and then you're allowing Najee Harris to get outside at 6'2", 230 and run downhill, where he's a handful, as Shaun Wade found out, trying to come up and run support.
Najee Harris, the Doak Walker Award winner, is the top running back in the country. They fake it to him, pitch it far side. Smith cannot juke free in Seven Banks. He's tackled right near the marker inside the 20.
You know, this is where the game, kind of the game within the game. Kerry Combs is very comfortable with giving cushion, respecting Devontae Smith and his ability to get behind you. So it's up to Banks and Wade and others in the secondary to keep the ball in front and tackle. Ohio State knows they're going to give up yards against this offense. It's about the red zone, squeezing down here. Does Bama score or do they kick field goals?
Harris, push one. That's a terrific play by Wade, who came off the corner to drop him for a loss.
That's a great job by Shaun Wade. His name has been brought up so much this week. He's back here. You can see he's lined up against Mechie. Mechie goes inside to pick up the safety. They want to challenge the corner. The reason Mechie blocked the safety is because safeties are more physical. They want to make the corner from Ohio State, Wade, have to tackle in space, and that time he answered the call.
Jalen Waddle has come into the ballgame, his first action in 11 weeks on 3rd and 4. Tied best in the country at converting third downs. 59% is scary. Four-man rush. Jones flips it, and Waddle off and running. Welcome back to college football. Comes up a little lame, but he sets up Bama at 1st and goal.
And Ohio State, one of the only times so far, they go man-to-man across the board, and the freshman, Ransom, 12, is on him, trying to kind of crossing route, mesh route, a lot of traffic to be able to come clean from. And I thought Jones might take off and get the first down on his own, but he does a good job of keeping his eyes upfield and eventually finds Waddle and just flips it to him.
Dillon limping off after the 15-yard gain. How many plays can he give them tonight? That was an important one on 3rd down. 1st and goal, play action. Jones, far side, lofts it over the head of Devontae Smith, who was covered by Wade that time.
Yes, Steve Sarkisian sees man-to-man and tries to get Devontae Smith against Wade and uses a rub route with the 2 outside receivers. It's a lot for Shaun Wade to have to try to work through. You can see more Forrestal, the tight end, almost setting that pick to try to get the receiver, Devontae Smith, freed up, which he obviously did. The ball's just overthrown.
Mechie comes in motion. They get the ball to him. One blocker there, not enough. As Banks came up and tackled him at the 5, it'll be 3rd and goal.
Big part of this game is, again, tackling in space. You're going to give up catches in front of you. How many yards after the catch is Ohio State giving up? This is, like I said, it's about the red zone tonight for the Ohio State defense. Are you giving up touchdowns? Or are you giving up field goals?
It's a 4-point play right here. 3 or 7. That's Smith who comes in motion. Jones is looking that way. Wasn't open. Fires near side. Diving catch. And Bolden spotted out short of the pylon. Slade Bolden, the sophomore from Louisiana.
How about Mac Jones? You talk about working through progressions all the way from his right, just before he gets pressure from Tyler Friday, all the way back to his left. His last option to Bolden, whose feet are in the end zone but has to come back to the ball. There's the AT&T 5G pylon cam to give you a really good look at it.
Tip of the football was very close to the front edge of that goal line and breaking the plane. They'll stop and take a look at it.
The runner was short of the goal line, is under review. Timeout on the field.
By coming back to the ball, Kirk, as you said, that might have prevented the touchdown. The ball, even if he doesn't make it, just inches away. We'll take a break while they check it out.
This is the new iPhone 12 Pro with 5G.
Watch some football.
Call confirmed, so 4th down and a foot. Bama's offense on the field. They rarely try 4th downs. One of the fewest totals in the country here, but obviously a foot away, they believe, in their offensive line, which was voted the best in the land.
Yeah, 12th play of this drive for Alabama.
Again, Tommy Togiai, the ornery anchor of that defensive front, one of them anyway, not able to go tonight. His presence would be useful at this moment.
Jerron Cage has been in for him this entire first drive, and there's Garrett, who's very, very talented.
Two tight ends and running behind a linebacker, Joshua McMullen. Najee Harris barrels in for his 25th rushing touchdown. Or is it? There's still no signal. They're talking about this. It looked he's clearly in.
Yeah, his whole body's in. That's a touchdown.
Ohio State players lobbying.
Well, he
kind of disgusted that he didn't get immediate gratification there.
When in doubt, go behind the right tackle, Evan Neal. I think he's a future top 5 pick, 73. Does a good job. You can see the whole right side. Then the linebacker, McMillan, does a good job of picking up the backer, Justin Hilliard, and opening that up.
So the long march, 4th down, touchdown, and Alabama draws first blood as Ohio State star running back on the first play appears to be injured.
Kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
The College Football Playoff National Championship game is presented by AT&T. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. And in part by Allstate. You've never been in better hands. Dos Equis, a most interesting beer. Please enjoy responsibly. And Capital One. What's in your wallet?
It's the play, of course, to win the championship over Georgia. Devontae Smith announced himself to the world. Only played 6 games before that in the championship season. Then ended it with a splash. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, making the plays that move you forward. Goodyear, more driven. 78 yards and 12 plays for Alabama, and the 28th touchdown for Harris this year equals Derrick Henry's mark in his Heisman Trophy season, which ended in a championship. All of Henry's were on the ground.
See Najee Harris kind of fired up when he was walking off. He's still talking about it to Butch Jones there, who's headed to Arkansas State as a head coach. Tough Borland had him by the ankle there after he had scored. That's what the commotion was after the play.
So second possession for Ohio State. How do they work around the fact that Trey Sermon is not available for the moment? We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we're probably going to see Master Teague. Just to take a look, you know, it's not a huge thing, but it is to Najee Harris. Look at Tough Borland, still has his ankle, twisting it, turning it. This is a guy that, by the way, as Chris said in the warm-ups, you can see him pointing to the referee or the umpire, hey, you know, help me out here. I'm in the end zone.
Master Teague, by the way, Kirk, missed the last couple games, had a concussion against Northwestern, couldn't play against Clemson, so he's fresh and rested, but maybe a little rusty. Now he's going to have to be the guy.
Remember, against Clemson, first series 3 and out, and then Ryan Day, that's when the tempo and the changing of tempo really started on that second series.
And they had 5 consecutive touchdown drives after that 3 and out against the Tigers. Teague runs through a tackle. I started to say ran through a tackle, but he's eventually hauled down. And here is Trey Sermon. Watch the fact that he jumps up pretty quickly. I don't think he thought anything was wrong, but he soon realized that left side didn't feel too good.
Yeah, well, sometimes in a huge game, a lot of adrenaline. Sometimes it takes a second to feel that.
Fields to Olave, his favorite target, makes a catch, can't quite muscle to the marker. Stopped by Jordan Battle. It'll be 3rd down and about 3.
Alabama has worked very, very hard on the changing of tempo and how Ohio State at times will disguise fast tempo. They won't go just fast right after the receiver or ball carrier gets tackled. Sometimes they wait and go fast late to try to get Alabama out of position.
And Fields hands off to Teague, who does make the 1st down. That was a case where you might expect a quarterback run. We didn't see the call there.
It's zone read, and Pete Golding told me an interesting thing. He said, we're going to kind of feel out Justin Fields and how healthy he is before we determine on their zone reads if we give him a give read or if we're going to give him a read that would keep the football in his hands.
It's Golding, the bearded Louisiana native, 2nd year as defensive coordinator, one of the bright young coaches in the game on that side of the ball. Fields scans the field and flips it over the head of Garrett Wilson on a crosser who's covered by the linebacker Harris.
I think Justin Fields is still trying to settle into this game with his rhythm. Little crossing route. Bama's not necessarily, they're kind of in a matchup zone, which turns into man-to-man, but it just almost looked like he guided that throw instead of just getting back and throwing it, letting it rip. Here comes that pressure from Branch again. We saw him blitz earlier.
Ohio State so desperate to stay on schedule against this tough defense. And 2nd and 10 is not on schedule. Fields has time in the pocket, delivers downfield, and the catch is made by Olave. It's a first down in Bama territory.
Well, they came out of that pressure, dropped to a cover 2 look, so now you got to pick on the corner instead of man-to-man. Fields does a good job of recognizing that. He's got it, the corner stays up tight on the tight end, and he finds that nice window right over top of him for the first down. Good read by Fields.
Olave, 5 of his 6 games. He missed the Big Ten championship game. 100-yard receiving games. Counted on a big performance tonight from him.
A lot of cat and mouse going on between Ryan Day as a play caller and Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator from Alabama.
Rucker at the tight end motions to the right. Teague tries to run that way and gets nothing. Runs into a crimson wall. Harris has been active early.
Yeah, that's tough to run between the tackles against Alabama. You go back and look at Olave. Love the hands of Olave. Route running, does a good job. That right foot is just in bound. He bobbled it for a second, got possession, and the right foot came down in bounds to give him that catch.
They'd like that matchup against the safety Helms tonight if they can get it. Fields takes it down the middle. One-handed tight end catch. Jeremy Rucker. And the tight ends who were so huge against the Tigers set the Buckeyes up 1st and goal.
Safeties go here and here, which opens up the middle of the field for the big tight end who's got receiver skills in Rucker. He had a big game, like you said, Chris, against Clemson. Watch him work against Harris, getting vertical. Great throw, soft touch, allowing the big man to use that right hand to bring it in for the big possession.
Buckeyes are going to have to make plays like that tonight, as you said, if they're going to stay with this Bama offense. Teague runs left and scores, and Ohio State does answer quickly. What a drive. And Teague stepping up, as he'll have to tonight.
The tempo huddle, like got Clemson, gets Alabama. It's a hurry up, get lined up, get Alabama not quite on the same page. They seal the edge. Wilson does enough there on Josh Jobe, the corner, and Master Teague gets into the end zone.
Jake Seibert has to kick. Blake Haubeil, the normal, reliable kicker, positive for COVID, did not make the trip. Seibert's been good. He's 14 for 14 on PATs, but has not made a field goal in his college career. Touted freshman, but keep that in mind. Buckeyes say, forget field goals. We need touchdowns to win a championship, and they get one from Teague. 7 apiece. Good start here in Miami.
Find new roads.
We've seen the 3-headed monster of Alabama already. Devontae is not quite that bulky. Makes up for it in speed. Mac Jones, general of that offense, so sharp, so smart. And we've seen Najee Harris already with a touchdown run. You put them together, and they're like King Ghidorah, the arch nemesis of Godzilla for you folks who love Godzilla. Saban looking on at the 3-headed dragon.
That's my favorite part. He's trying to, you don't want to tame the 3-headed monster, not tonight. Love the fact that all 3 of those guys have had to wait their turn and pay their dues to become the guy.
First career kickoff for 4-year punter Drew Chrisman. He sees Devontae Smith back there and says, I'm not kicking it to him. Keeps it away from him. And a flag comes in on the return. Nope, don't see a flag. Gans on the return there.
Let's go back and look at that one of these drives early for Bama. All about space for Devontae Smith. Ohio State aware of that. Safety's back. That's another aspect that Alabama is going to try to take advantage of. If the safeties are back, they've got to try to get Najee Harris going. That was a 3rd down. Mac Jones seeing Waddle, who came into the game for that play, came up with some big yards for the first down, and then eventually 4th and short, they get the touchdown. But they did have to work. That was a 12-play drive for Alabama.
Jones 6 of 8 in that drive, 5 different receivers. Play action on first down, looking to launch deep. Smith is wide open, makes a catch and is spun out of bounds in Ohio State territory, but they lost the Heisman winner in coverage.
Well, they saw levels concept and they thought Mitchie 8 coming across the middle. That's where Seven Banks sat. He took the crossing route and did not take Devontae Smith, who again, they find ways to create matchups. Get the ball thrown over top of that crossing route to where Smith is for the big play and the big first down.
Call him Smitty. He is just so savvy, Kirk, as you know, just knows the playbook inside and out. Real chemistry with Jones. Mack looking to sling it again, far side, and there is the combination again. Devontae Smith is involved early. Wade in coverage again.
Ohio State sitting back with a single high, which is what they do, whether it's cover 3 or cover 1, meaning zone or man free. They're giving a lot of space up underneath. Steve Sarkisian is seeing that. Mac Jones is taking that. Again, I keep saying it. It's going to be a red zone game for Alabama. Ohio State's going to give up the yards. It's going to come down to the execution in the red zone.
Waddle back in the game, left slot. Smith is far left. They're throwing to the near side, and dancing out of bounds is John Mechie, a couple yards short of the marker.
The other thing, Chris, in this era of speed and space, and sometimes defensive coaches get 5 and 6 defensive backs on the field, Ohio State doesn't have great depth in that secondary. They play with 3 linebackers. You're going to see Tuff Borland and Pete Werner, Justin Hilliard and Baron Browning. You're going to see all these guys on the field instead of those 5 and 6 DBs. And Alabama wants to test those linebackers in space and see if they can go sideline to sideline and make plays.
Power to the right of the formation. Smith lined up to the left. They get it to him. And Devontae spun down. Physical tackle by Josh Proctor. The safety got him up high and slammed him to the ground.
Well, Proctor's a safety, but he's got corner skills with good length at 6'2", 200 pounds. But it's kind of same old, same old. They see the numbers advantage. They see a soft coverage on the outside, and Mac Jones has been taught all year to take those easy throws. Again, here it comes, now back into the red zone.
Yep, the kind of situations that could define the outcome tonight. Harris on the pitch, and nowhere to run. They strung him out. He was able to power forward for a couple of yards before Borland, who was the first guy there, turned him back.
Yeah, Baron Browning does a good job along with Tyler Friday. Right, here's Friday, here's Browning. They're just trying to work outside to force the back inside. Najee Harris, if you let him get around the perimeter and outflank you, you're in trouble. Good job by Browning. He forces it back. Again, Tyler Friday, 54, who's back playing, hasn't played a lot this year, and Tuff Borland able to clean it up.
So, Ohio State offensive lineman down.
Cage.
Check his, it's a Cage?
Yeah, or on Cage.
Stepping in for Togiat tonight. We'll step out for a minute.
Some of my best memories growing up.
Root for those with a fighting spirit.
Want more stats? Just ask Siri, who leads college football in receiving touchdowns.
If you're watching this season, you wouldn't need to ask Siri that because Devontae Smith has been so dominant. List of accomplishments there. And just a great teammate. At 175 pounds, one of the alphas of this team, the alpha of the offense, they say. When he speaks, they listen.
Rare to see that from a receiver.
Harris has it on 2nd and 9. Middle of his claw, tries to bounce it, but the pursuit gets him. He still runs through some tackles and gets within a couple yards of the marker. Shows the power.
Oh, that's an impressive effort. I mean, you're looking at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Ohio State playing with 4 linebackers. They're playing a 4-4. Is anticipating the run from Harris. They've got him bottled up. Look at all those white jerseys. Somehow he gets through there, not just with power, Chris, elusiveness. Look at the footwork that Najee Harris has, something that he has worked so hard on to become a complete back for the Crimson Tide.
Here we go, 3rd and 2 to long 2. Another one of those crucial red zone plays. Jones gets it out quickly. Mechie. Forced back inside, sandwich, and smashed short of the marker. Great play by Proctor and Baron Browning. It's 4th down.
Well, they've got 3 receivers out here to the trips to the right. Look at Browning trying to communicate. Hey, you got to get out here. I need help. I need help. Sean Wade does a good job of getting off Devontae Smith, keeps contained, forces him back, and all those white jerseys keep him short of the first down.
Here we go again. Another 4th down. Need a full yard. 6 offensive linemen in the game for Alabama. Harris, first and goal. 230-pounder. Tough Borland knocked him down, but the Tide are set up.
Antoine Jackson came in for Cage. He and Garrett in the middle. They just test him right up the middle, right into the teeth of the Ohio State defense. They get a good push right here. See the 2 defenders that are down. Borland and Warner try to fill, but by the time they're able to get there, it's too late. Nice job by Bama getting a good surge in the middle.
Only had 3 4th down conversions all season. Didn't have to go for it very often. 2 already tonight in this first quarter. Final 30 seconds of it. Harris again. Sidestep in the hole there and knocked down at the 2 by Warner again.
Boy, Justin Hilliard got penetration quickly. I mean, Najee Harris is putting on a display right now. Watch 47 knife in right there. Gets there. But look at Najee Harris. Again, it's not just the power, it's that speed and quickness.
Going quick, but met in the backfield. Justin Hilliard, as you said, stormed in there to knock Harris down.
Yeah, he missed him the last time, and this time, Chris, he dialed it up. He's been so instrumental for this Ohio State defense over the last few weeks. Watch him be able to get in there. A couple linemen are occupied. It frees up Hilliard. Does a good job of awareness. Eyes up. Makes a big-time tackle.
Linebacker plays fearless with passion. He's peaking right now. End of the first quarter. Now for an interview powered by AT&T 5G Holovision. Our friend David Pollack.
Coach couldn't be here with us fit.
The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Set for the second quarter in Miami. College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. 11th play of this Alabama drive. 12-play touchdown drive to open things for Bama. Answered by Ohio State. And now it's a 3rd and goal at the 5. One of those 4-point plays, Kirk.
Yeah. Keep talking about it. It's all about red zone execution for both teams down here.
Smith set to the left, tight formation. Jones flips it to him. Devontae headed for the end zone, and Alabama back on top. As Smith scores his 44th career touchdown. That's number 6 all time.
Well, you had 2 defenders that time ran with Devontae Smith. And Steve Sarkisian again dialing up a play, giving a wrinkle that Ohio State hadn't seen, confuses him, and he's able to get free down in the red zone.
Smith already with 2 receptions of more than 20 yards tonight. And now the touchdown. 6 catches already for the Heisman Trophy winner. So Alabama, electric start as you expect.
You got Billingsley right here. You've got 2 Ohio State defenders that end up going with him this way. Watch Billingsley go. Now Smith, he ends up coming back and then working to the outside, and no one's able to get to the outside and deal with his speed. 2 defenders run with the tight end. Nobody's with Devontae Smith. And the world knows coming into a game that Devontae Smith's going to get the ball. But give again Steve Sarkisian credit for the different ways he moves him around and creates confusion to get him freed up.
Creates the right word. It's almost artistic to watch some of the play design of Sark. It looks simple, but it's so deceptive and so effective.
Yeah, and again, you know 6 is getting the ball. But in the defense, the one guy, it's like he has red lights on top of his helmet, but he still is able to hide him different ways.
Speed didn't hurt either. They couldn't catch him to the pylon.
Right.
And Mac Jones showing you why he was one of the top quarterbacks in the country. In fact, won 2 trophies for the quarterback. Just cool, efficient, and spot on so far. And let's go to Maria with an update on the Ohio State sideline.
Yeah, an update on Trey Sermon, Chris. After just one carry, he went back into the locker room. He did receive an x-ray, but I've just received confirmation that he is headed to the hospital. He'll be at Broward General Hospital as he continues to get diagnosed. As he walked off, he was grabbing that collarbone on the left side, could not raise his hand at all. But since that moment, we've obviously seen Master Teague run in a touchdown. Tony Alford, the running backs coach, came right up to him and said, hey, Trey is out. We have to win this game for him now.
Such a cruel fate for Sermon, for anybody who worked so hard to get in this position, and this of all seasons. Marcus Crowley will take a turn too. It'll be a shared responsibility, not just Master Teague. Remember, hasn't played in a couple of games. So again, the Buckeyes answer again. Fields has time, delivers across the middle, and the strike. Catch made by Jamison Williams, first down.
Nice job here by Justin Fields. Uses his eyes. He's going to look to the right, eventually come back to the left. See his eyes. He's kind of looking here. He comes back, finds his open receiver and target, kind of picking on those linebackers, an area that's been a trouble spot for Alabama at times this year in conference play.
You thought Justin looked a little uneasy early. He's certainly settling in now. Teague spun down. Bear hug by Christian Barmore.
I mean, imagine dealing. Crowley comes in and really played all year. He's in the national championship. You lose Trey Sermon. Ohio State's counting on that offensive line. It's going to be a great battle at the line of scrimmage. Physicality, Ohio State. I think that's the one thing. As much as Fields and the receivers got the attention from the Clemson game, if you really went back and watched the game, it was the line of scrimmage and the physicality that was impressive. And they've got their hands full tonight, and they know it.
2nd and 7. Fields has plenty of time. Now backpedals and tries to create on the run. He'll just throw it away. Barmore, who made that tackle, was a force against Notre Dame. Just incredibly disruptive, Kirk. He's one of those first-round prospects. Todd McShay says number 20 overall.
Impressive. I mean, usually when you see Alabama's defensive front, you've got guys that are top 5. I don't look at this defensive line in the same way we've seen in the past. Barmore is an impressive guy, most twitchy and athletic of the bunch. But I think this is a young defense that will be better in the future. They're winning right now because of the offense, and in this national championship because of the offense. But the defense has improved throughout the year.
Buckeyes need 7 on 3rd. Blitz comes. Fields sidesteps it nicely. It's a fluttering pass into traffic, and the catch is made nicely by Garrett Wilson.
I think a defender got a hand on the ball, and it might have been Barmore, who you just talked about. Nice job of stepping up in the pocket by Justin Fields.
And they tried to play at warp speed. There's a flag before the snap.
Garrett Wilson wasn't lined up. That'll be on Ohio State.
First penalty of the night.
Offense, number 5, was never set before the snap. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
The tempo a priority, Kirk, but it can cost you sometimes in execution.
Go back to this play, that blitz. There is Barmore. He did get just a finger, an index finger on that ball. The ball, as you said, Chris, kind of fluttered. How about the focus and concentration by Wilson to make that catch? Good coverage.
Ohio State back in their territory behind the sticks now. 1st and 15. Handoff. And Teague falls forward, gets back to the original line of scrimmage for 5.
Kind of give you keep an eye on Ryan Day, the tempo, the change-ups. Pete Golding trying to get the calls in.
Bama barely set on the snap. Fields pressured and has to throw it away. Barely gets the ball back to the line of scrimmage. Wilson was in the neighborhood, but Mathis and Battle were pressuring hard.
They also brought Harris. That's a couple times now we've seen that pressure off to the right where they bring him late, bring safety. Battle also comes, see him coming late. He was a little deeper, forces Fields, who was so focused downfield. I think the pressure got to him and surprised him.
Fields was great against the Clemson blitz, very efficient, and the Tigers tried to bring pressure. Not that time. 3rd and 9. Delayed blitz, passes high and off the hands of Teague. Fields is knocked down hard.
Well, they really dialed up the pressure this time on Justin Fields, who remembers dealing with that injury, the hip pointer that he sustained against Clemson. We wondered what percent he would be playing. How healthy is he? He's going to get hit. How will he respond? Anderson and Harris both get to him, forcing him to get the ball out early. Here's the first big hit that Justin Fields has taken on the night.
2 physical linebackers, more than 230 pounds each. You can see the wince. You can't take too many more of those without it affecting his throwing. I think you'd agree. Chrisman's high punt, and Smith makes a fair catch at the 11, but Buckeyes drive stalls. Bama back to work, up 14-7. Gritting his teeth again tonight, trying to play through it.
Intuit TurboTax Live.
Check the Capital One easiest decision. You got that right.
Yeah, well, get the ball out again to Devontae Smith. Let him make plays after the catch. Last time they had the ball, they did a good job of getting the ball thrown downfield. And this is a well-designed play. They bring him in that orbit motion after the snap. It causes some confusion post-snap for the Ohio State secondary, and he walks into the end zone.
6 catches in their first 2 possessions. Brian Robinson is in for Harris, but they flip it to Smith in the flat again, and that's an easy 11 yards on the edge before Banks forced him out.
It's just like we just kind of showed. He does that orbit motion where he comes here, now he's here, and then he comes back.
How do you defend that?
Well, you can't. If the goal is to keep everything in front, you're going to give up a lot of yards in front of you, and then you got to try to just rally to the ball and try to prevent him from making big plays after the catch, which is he's the best player in the country after the catch. Mac Jones has not faced any pressure up to this point.
Well, faces some pressure there. Lost the football, and Ohio State takes it away. Baron Browning falls on it. That's the play the Buckeye defense needed. A rare turnover for the Tide.
Well, we just talked about they're not pressuring, and this time he's out here. He walks up. Mac Jones, you see him pointing off to his right. He brings the tight end down. There's the blitz late. And because he was able to come so quick, Billingsley's not able to get around to the outside. Look at 19. He's coming around to pick up that blitz, but Browning times it up perfectly. And because he got in there so quickly, Billingsley's not able to make that block, and he catches Jones off guard and knocks that ball loose. Not just gets to him, but he knocks the ball loose.
Browning, the former all-world recruit, graduate student now, comes from Texas. And Fields now, they begin this drive in the red zone, trying to get even here early second quarter.
The tight ends against Clemson in the red zone were a big factor with their size.
Combined for 3 touchdown catches against the Tigers. Fields looking to throw on first down, gets good protection, end zone, out of the hands of Jamison Williams, and a flag comes in. Bounce right off the numbers.
Well, Joe was beat. Ball a little bit late, and that's why you saw Williams have to adjust back to the ball. Watch 28. Williams gets behind him. Joe doesn't realize he doesn't have help, and
automatic first down.
Because the ball's underthrown, he actually makes the contact. He never really found the football.
Williams, who has just 8 catches this year, but had a big, deep touchdown against Clemson. Should have cashed that one in right there. But the ball's moved to the 4 now, first and goal.
Yeah, tough for his vision. Joe hits him right across the face mask right before the ball got to him.
Farrell and Ruckert, 2 tight ends, both to the right side. Olave comes back in motion. Teague barrels in. Touchdown, Ohio State. They cash in the fumble recovery and draw even.
Well, there's the physicality of the Ohio State offensive line. And that's taking advantage of an opportunity. The right side just getting a great push. And I tell you, you lose Trey Sermon, you lose quickness, lateral quicks, speed and vision. What do you pick up with Master Teague? Physicality, lowering his shoulder and running through the line of scrimmage.
Maria relating that Tony Alford, the RB coach, told him, let's go win it for Sermon. You could see the determination in that run for Master Teague, who scored a couple of touchdowns tonight. Baron Browning, though, made the big play, knocking it out of Jones' hands and then falling on it. The penalty sets up Ohio State, and the short touchdown drive gets us to 14 apiece in Miami.
Why stay inside the lines when you could add all kinds of range?
The College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T is brought to you by Taco Bell's Nacho Fries, Samsung QLED TV, the official TV of ESPN College Football, and Bolt 24, real advanced hydration from the makers of Gatorade.
Battle of Legends. Bear got the better of Woody there. 11 national championships between those two legends.
You know, Master T running with a purpose. People forget, as Trey Sermon came on from the Michigan State game on, the game before, the Indiana game, he had 169 yards and was kind of the featured guy, and then just kind of drifted into the back of the depth chart behind Sermon, who became a national face and name.
Yeah, Teague, a couple of mental mistakes in that game. Sermon ripped off the big run, and then he caught fire. And
yeah,
you could see the determination, Kirk, in Teague.
He's running with
wants to be a part of
edge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We need to keep that up. Alabama had their first turnover-free game of the season against Notre Dame, but never had more than one in a game. That fumble by Jones was big. And let's go to Allison on the Alabama side.
Guys, Nick Saban told us one of the major developments with Mac Jones and his maturation was his ability to deal with his emotions after a bad play. After that fumble, he came to the sideline and he was fuming. He sat down, let it out a little bit verbally, and then took a moment to himself before putting that trademark smile on his face, going over to his offensive line and saying, "We're all right, guys, we're good. That's on me, but we're moving on." That's the maturation of Mac Jones. Before, he would get so frustrated and couldn't move on to the next play, and he has done such a better job of that this year.
What's his nickname in the quarterback?
I was going to say, Allison, is very fitting. Sark used to call him McEnroe, John McEnroe, because he would lose his cool and when he was a young freshman and sophomore. That became his nickname.
You cannot be serious.
Right. He's grown.
First down throw, far side, back shoulder throw. What a catch. Devontae is just dialed in tonight. He beat Wade that time.
Devontae Smith gives you another example of why he's the premier receiver in college football. Gets both his feet down. How about the length of his arms and his legs? He's able to extend, get out, catch the ball, and to get his feet down for that first down.
8 for 111 and a touchdown already. Clearly the best receiver in the country this season. Kirk, I'm going to ask you where you think he ranks all time among your years of watching this sport at the receiver position. And on the slant, nice play by Seven Banks to contain Smith that time.
I will answer that in a second because it's a very long answer, but I loved how Mac Jones that time gives a little pump to the outside. And again, he's finding a way. The coverage comes up tight, and they get Smith going up front. He's up front to block, and instead of blocking, he releases, and they hit him on that quick slant. What I love is his humility and his work ethic and his attitude. And being a superstar, he's probably the most humble superstar I've covered, along with Julio Jones, who I think really got their wide receiver room started when he came into Tuscaloosa.
An incredible wide receiver room recent years at wide receiver U. Buckeyes have a run blitz, but Harris gets through it and barrels for a first down, tied on the move again inside the 35.
Well, they brought those backers, and you bring the backers up the middle. You're kind of hoping you're able to hit a crease. Instead, they're able to kind of get that walled off on that left side. He gets outside of Haskell. Garrett picks up that block by 65 that time. Brown, Ohio State continuing to play. It's amazing. They're playing a 4-4. 4 linebackers as their base defense.
Deontay Brown, 350 pounds, shows you why he's headed to the Senior Bowl. Saban's favorite award is the Joe Moore Award, given collectively to the guys up front. Bama's won it twice. Jones on the run. Don't see this often, not known for his scrambling, but he picks up about 8 or 9 there.
Zach Harrison working against Alex Leatherwood, the left tackle. He got upfield and created just a big lane. And Mac Jones recognizes that. He's able to pick up some positive yards. That just really opened up for him. Not the most fleet-footed, but when it opens up like that, you got to take it.
Jerron Cage back in the game, backing up. Tommy Togiai, one of the Buckeyes, unavailable tonight. And 2nd and 3, Jones is pressured, lobs it to Harris, who collects it, gets around Borland and leaps to the end zone. A hat trick for Najee Harris. Actually, just his second touchdown, but he might get a third coming up.
Well, he's special. Become a complete back. He came back for a reason. But what I love is the design. They move Mechie this way, and then eventually you get Najee Harris out of the backfield. Ohio State blitzes Baron Browning. There's no one left to pick up. How about the ball skills to adjust back to the ball to just make the catch? And then he shows you what he can do in that open field.
He was an effective receiver. He is so good after the catch. Kind of collects it softly in his right hand. Foot in the ground, makes a cut, runs right through Borland, and Bama back on top by a touchdown. 21-14.
With the top-rated app that lets you deposit checks and transfer.
0 for 72, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Moments ago, part of the CFP Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers initiative. Executive Director Bill Hancock on the left, and our ESPN President Jimmy Pitaro presenting a check for $200,000 to support equity in South Florida public schools, the 6th anniversary of the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative. Man, Kirk, this year more than ever, haven't teachers been challenged and been priceless contributions they've made.
Oh, it's incredible. I've got a son who's a senior in high school in Nashville, and also an 8th grader. And yeah, I mean, the teachers all over the country doing the best they can through this global pandemic.
Reichert's boot into the end zone. Another look at the second touchdown tonight for Harris.
I just like to look at the design. Mechie again is right here. He's going to go in motion, and he's going to take 7 Banks with him. You'll see the blitz by 5. Baron Browning, who made that big play to create that fumble, they're getting aggressive. They turn him loose. The only problem is Mac Jones feels it, recognizes it, and gets the ball out. Browning would have had him covered, but instead he goes on the blitz. And then, wow, Najee Harris, such an impressive back, a complete back. He wanted his turn to be that complete player, and he's turned into that for Alabama.
Look what Sarkisian said. The motion helps, quote, hide our best plays.
Yep.
Pre-snap from the defense.
Because the defense has to react to all that pre-snap movement.
Ohio State now trying to answer. Handoff inside to Teague before Barmore knocks him down after a couple.
And let's face it, I mean, this is the game that a lot of analysts and a lot of the media kind of anticipated. I don't know if it'll continue, but it was almost like one of the teams might score a touchdown, the other one. That's why I said the red zone. If any team can force a field goal, that could be a big stop for a defense. Can Ohio State keep the pace, though?
2nd and 7. Fields escapes and looks pretty good as a runner there. Open field, and will finally step out of bounds. Some prudence at the end of the run, but it's a big play to Bama territory.
Well, this is the problem. If you play man-to-man, and Nick Saban and Pete Golding love to do that, it opens it up. Look at all the coverage. Every defensive back has a guy that they've got to account for, but nobody accounts for the quarterback.
Crank the tempo, and Teague breaks free down the sidelines and barrels inside the 15 before Battle forced him out. Buckeyes striking back quickly.
You're right about the tempo. They're going to work the left side here. Bama not quite ready and in position, and very similar to that Clemson play that was the first touchdown. They run the zone play off to the left, that outside zone play, that stretch play, and Master Teague hits that crease.
Both offenses have been really efficient in the red zone.
Now that time they fake tempo, they fake like they're going to go fast.
28 yards and 29 yards. It's first down at the 15. Teague falls for 3.
I thought Nick Saban had an interesting comment to you and I on our Zoom call for preparation for this game. I said, you know, Ryan Day changed up the tempo so much against Brent Venables. What's that do to you as a defensive coach? He goes, well, as much as the offense trying to create rhythm, we get into a rhythm on our side of the ball too. And when they're going fast and then they're going slow and then they go fast late, it affects us as much as anything.
There's that clap. It's the fake snap. And then a look to the sidelines. Plenty of time on the clock. Teague, nowhere to run. They force him wide, and Christopher Ellen drops him for a loss.
Yeah, they get a good push in the middle. Mathis actually is able to fight through. He's able to fight through the center and the right guard, Myers and Davis. So Allen's able to kind of get up away from Munford and set that edge, but the penetration forced Teague to bounce outside where Allen's waiting for him.
As you said, kind of an unheralded group of D linemen by Bama standards, but they still got hosses up there. And now on 3rd and 11, play clock winding down. Another one of those 4-point plays as the Buckeyes try to get even one more time. And Ryan Day will try to cook up a play for Fields on this break. You're watching the College Football Playoff Championship game presented by AT&T.
Wow. I wish I could get a deal on a smartphone, but...
The Lincoln family of luxury SUVs.
Beautiful championship Monday in Miami, and the aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. To reach the end zone, all you need is drive. Goodyear, more driven. You wonder, Kirk, if Ryan Day is thinking 2 plays to get the 11 yards if they don't make it on 3rd down here.
Yeah, I am curious. I mean, you're starting kickers out. You're in a game that feels like a shootout.
Hallbeal testing positive, and Jake Seibert has not made a field goal in his college career, just 0 for 1. Fields from the pocket, slant, and the ball is knocked out of the hands of Ruckert, and a flag comes in. Is it targeting yet again? Battle delivered the blow.
Here it would be a defenseless player and a targeting call. That's what's called from the official.
Crown of the helmet.
Battle came up, see him in the middle of the field, comes up, and he knows he has to hit Farrell and hit him hard because of his, or Ruckert, because of his size, 250 pounds.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 9. A ruling of targeting is under review.
Oh, yeah.
And the targeting call against Skalski on the hit for Fields, that was not called on the field. That was buzzed down by the replay booth. This one was quickly called.
Well, that's the last look shows it. It's the crown of the helmet right there.
And you could hear it.
Yeah. See, watch him lower the head. That's right. What we look for. And that's, you know, Chris, that's as much about trying to keep the defender healthy as it is about the receiver.
I agree. Until that to Ruckert. Stars in his eyes. You could see he was dazed as he hit the turf.
If this holds up, and hopefully everybody's healthy, they're all off the field, and it's okay. You put a star next to that's 3rd and 11, an incompletion where he separates the ball, and then if you get the targeting call, it's a 1st down, and then Battle would be out of the game, one of their top players on the back end. You know, this is a young defense in the back end. The secondary, the nickel back, you know, they've grown from where they were early. They lost 4 of their 5 defensive backs from a year ago, so they've really grown, and he's been a big part of it.
When Saban began his career, that kind of hit was legal in college football.
Not legal. It was encouraged.
Coached.
It led Sports Center. I mean, those are the plays.
After reviewing the play, ruling of targeting is confirmed. Number 9 is disqualified by rule. Penalties half the distance to the goal.
You know, you don't have to like the rule, and I'm sure people in the state of Alabama right now are going crazy, but it's the rule. I mean, we can all agree that we don't, maybe some of us don't like it. We like the physicality of the game. But when you lower your head, you make a hit like that, you're going to get called.
Seems like every big game in this sport involves a targeting call, the intensity of these championship games. So, yeah, instead of 4th down and a field goal attempt, Ohio State's got 1st and goal at the 8.
And again, something to remember is Malachi Moore didn't play against Notre Dame. He had a back injury. You know, you look in that back end. Brian Branch is back there. Helms is back there. Battle, a big part of the glue. That's a big loss.
And Ruckert's back in there, which is great to see. He's a red zone weapon. And Fields looks to fire to the end zone. Was behind Garrett Wilson and way over his head.
Really good route and separation by Garrett Wilson. He got to the top of his route, gave a little shake to the inside on Surtain. Boom, like inside step. He gets that separation. Ball just thrown over his head. Surtain, they believe in him. Bama believes in him. Leave him on a corner. He's an All-American. big, physical, 6'2", 202 pounds, but Wilson got the best of him there.
His dad played pro football for the Dolphins here for 7 years, all pro. Teague, short game. Teams don't even try Surtain very often. He's that good.
He really is. Yeah, I think the big thing is he's so physical. He gets his hands on you in press coverage, and that the big way that Ohio State looked at trying to beat him would be not letting him get his hands on you. You feel bad for Jordan Battle, who went to St. Thomas Aquinas right in South Florida. I'm sure he was fired up to have a chance to play in this game.
Comes from Lauderdale, not far from the stadium, as 4 Bama defensive backs do, all from South Florida. Ruckert back in and back in motion on 3rd and goal. Fields has time, fires, almost intercepted. Surtain came back, got a hand on it, but Justin, not his finest series after the penalty. Set him up 1st and goal.
He threw that into traffic. 29 gets his hands on the ball. Helms, who I think has got a really bright future, and it went through his hands and even into Surtain's hands.
So here is the field goal attempt. Now the guy who's got to step up, true freshman from Cincinnati LaSalle, Jake Seibert, 0 for 1. Missed his only field goal attempt so far against Indiana from an angle, and knocks it through Cooley. Glorified PAT from 23 yards. Ohio State for the first time stalls in the red zone, but draws back within 4. Well, we've seen throughout the sports world the championship celebrations of the teams that have persevered. The Lakers and LeBron getting it done in the NBA bubble in Orlando in the relief. Tampa Bay Lightning, empty arena up in Canada when they raised the Stanley Cup. And the Dodgers won in the home uniforms in Texas. And you've seen the mix, Kirk, of joy and relief and just the whole cocktail of what 2020 has meant. And we're going to see one of these teams celebrate tonight in that fashion. And it'll be gutting. You feel badly for the losers. Friday night NBA doubleheader. Bucks and the Mavs. And at 10:05, Zion and the Pelicans face LeBron and those Lakers, both streaming live on the ESPN app. No matter whether it was Ohio State or Alabama players, they didn't really want to think about the confetti and the finish line because that can kind of get in the way of execution, and they've been schooled not to think about it. But if they ponder it for a second, just imagine how they're going to be feeling.
I can't even imagine, with, as you said, everything that they've been through, that this sport has been through. It's meant so much to this country to have football, both the NFL and the college game, to be able to follow and debate and argue and discuss.
Crispin kicks it. Smith comes up and makes a fair catch. He had plenty of room to run, but takes the cautious approach and then start from the 25. The College Football Playoff National Championship trophy going down there to the Art Deco district of South Beach, where you're hanging out down there.
You can feel the game atmosphere down there. Not quite obviously what you're used to when it's a big matchup.
Bama trying to win the 7th national championship in the last 13 years. Mind-boggling. And 18th overall. 3 touchdown drives and a fumble. Bama's first 4 possessions. Jones throws behind Mechie that time.
He had time. Ohio State, really good coverage, taking away the underneath routes. Mac Jones just nowhere to go with the football. Watch him work from the right. He's just waiting for the receivers to clear, but look at the Buckeyes in coverage there.
Pete Werner, top tackler on this defense. Cover as well, too. Second and 10. Slant. That time Mechie's able to collect the ball. Spotted. First down yardage, and a flag comes in very late.
Yeah, near the Alabama sideline. Did come in late.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty.
Well, that's part of the run pass option that you don't see called a lot. We've seen it already tonight a few times where it was not called. but Leatherwood is downfield. I'm sure Ryan Day is trying to remind the umpire and the officials, hey, keep an eye on these linemen. You know, when you run a run-pass option, just for the fans that don't understand, the linemen are running a run play. They're running a run play. The quarterback decides that the defense is lined up too much, and so he'll pull it and throw the football. The lineman got to be careful. He was 4 or 5 yards downfield.
Outland Trophy winner negates a first down catch. Doesn't matter. They find Mechie again. Back across the 35. Move the sticks.
Mechie did a good job of sitting in that soft spot of the zone. He's right here. See Ohio State, they're going to kind of sit back, little push. Now you just got to sit right in that spot right there. And good job by the quarterback Jones finding him.
Max 17 of 20 now, 210 yards. You flip it. Harris, funky looking play. Again, doesn't look like a lot, but he drags Antoine Jackson for a big first down gain.
Well, it's one thing you get your hands on Najee Harris. Justin Hilliard again got upfield and had a chance, but Najee Harris was so slippery for his size.
Remember, Najee Harris was the feature back late in that championship game win over Georgia as a freshman. Ended up being the leading rusher for Bama off the bench. Jones looking to throw far side, has Smith in stride, and the Heisman winner knocked out at the 15. Monster night.
Short, really good move to the inside. Shaun Wade does not get his hands on Devontae Smith at all. If you're going to get up into the face of number 6, you've got to do a good job of rerouting or getting your hands on him. That was a free release and an easy throw for Jones with the timing that time to Devontae Smith.
Wade up the tough nut, asked who do you want to cover. He says, you know who I want to match up against. Careful what you wish for. And under pressure, flag comes in. Seven Banks was defending on Mechie. Jones was pressured on the throw. It's going to go against the Buckeyes.
That was really where he made the cut to the inside. He got his left hand and grabbed a hold of him. The right hand was clean where he knocked the ball away. It was what he did with the left hand where he got himself into some trouble.
Pass interference. Defense, number 7. Ball's placed at the spot of the foul.
See that left hand grab onto the hip?
We saw Mechie limping around at practice. Didn't really participate in their last full practice. They said, that's just normal. He's been like that the last 3 weeks, but he manages the pain on game day.
Yeah, when you watch him at practice, you're thinking,
how is he?
We got a problem here.
He said, nah. Mechie, by the way, born in Taiwan, went to Ghana, goes from West Africa to Canada, plays high school ball in Maryland, then Jersey, finds his way to Tuscaloosa. He's a world citizen.
It's like you're traveling.
He's an impact player tonight. First and goal, Jones on the run, and it's just too easy for Devontae Smith as he just adds to his records and milestones, and Bama stretches the lead. Play concept, playmaker, too easy.
Well, and again, you get an indicator with the motion. You know Devontae Smith's going to get it, but when Sark decides to motion before the snap, he sees that he's got man-to-man against seven Banks.
Reichert knocks it through. The lead is now 11.
Now, this is what you do to help Devontae Smith. Is he's right here, and watch all the movement that Seven Banks has to stay with right over here. He's trying to stay with him. Is he going, oh, nope, now he's going back. Then he releases, now you got to try to get out to the flat. It's just hard to do. It's hard on a corner, but it's all about the matchup that Sark creates for Devontae Smith.
I thought Devontae had a good game in the semifinals against the Irish. 7 for 130 and 3 touchdowns. How about the first half for 11 catches? 173 yards and now 2 touchdowns. That's just scary.
So much for the Heisman jinx, right?
You think?
Putting an exclamation behind the Heisman Trophy.
It's why nobody could stop him. It's no mystery, especially after Jalen Waddle went down on the opening kickoff against Tennessee. Suddenly 6 became the focal point for opponents, and they tried everything, and they couldn't slow him down at all.
Because Alabama deferred, they get the ball in the second half in a weird way. Ohio State maybe a good thing they let Alabama score, because now they at least have a chance to put a drive together.
This season, for every field goal and extra point made, Allstate will make a contribution to the General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. So, as you said, urgency here. 3:19 before halftime, 2 timeouts to work with. But because Jones, Smith, Harris get the ball back, amplified importance right here. And Devontae Smith in a half has set the championship game.
Important Ohio State doesn't press and try to pick up 11 points in one possession. Just because you're behind, you got to kind of stay with the game plan.
And Teague couldn't collect the high throw as Fields was blitzed very quickly by Barmore.
Yeah, Barmore is so athletic. You know, he's by far, we talked about him earlier, the best pass rusher. They can get pressure without having to blitz because of his speed and quickness and being able to shoot gaps. They're setting up a screen, which helps him get in there, but he got into Justin Fields before he wanted to dump that ball to Teague.
Bama goes everywhere for players. Barmore's from Philadelphia. Second down, Fields lost it into traffic. They fight for the ball. It's incomplete. Branch battling with Wilson. Third down coming up now.
They put Branch out there on an island with Garrett Wilson, who's a tremendous route runner. But what I love is watch how his eyes turn and wait for the ball. Look at him looking, waiting. Then he goes up. Wilson actually does a good job of playing defense to knock that ball away, but terrific technique by Branch that time in coverage on the slot.
Crowley's the back. Bama bench jumping around, waving towels, hoping for a stop here. They dump it off underneath. No chance for Crowley. Tackled immediately by Christian Harris, and now Bama's going to get the football back before half.
I think Bama, they had a guy running off the field. Nick Saban was going crazy because of miscommunication. This is all because of Jordan Battle not being out there. I mean, you can see he's running. You see right here, he's trying to get off the field.
He didn't make it.
That's Armour Davis. No, and watch Nick Saban at the top. He got fired up. I didn't see a flag.
For too many men on the field, it was the 11th player who ran off.
Okay.
So they would have had 10. You're right, Battle.
They played with 10 players.
Said Battle's the guy in the back end, the vocal communicator. Getting checks the adjustments in there, and with him targeting an out, responsibility falls to less experienced guys.
Yeah, miscommunication there, and Alabama catches a break playing on that third down with just 10 players.
A lot of teams would like to have said, Nick, can you take one off? Can we play against a 10-man defense over the years?
No doubt.
Crispin to punt it, and the Heisman Trophy winner trying to add to his special first half, awaiting the punt at the 30. And he'll be driven back. No fair catch. Smith running sideways, turning the corner, accelerating. Hold your breath, Ohio State fans. They finally knock him down at the 40. Smith a little slow to get up, but Bama, good field position, 2:29 and 3 timeouts before the break. He's okay.
Of course, Alabama, they get the ball. Keep saying this. Start the second half. They're thinking about another touchdown, trying to go up 35-17. Ohio State, who's been trying to play conservative, trying to keep everything in front of them. They got to be careful on this possession. Do you continue to be conservative, or do you dial up a little bit of pressure and try to come after them? One thing you better do is keep an eye on Devontae Smith.
Good idea. Waddle back in the game. And the one catch earlier. Smith has to retreat. It's a screen. Harris turns it up and gallops into Ohio State territory at the 46. Plenty of time.
They're expecting pressure. Ohio State didn't blitz, but the backers and safeties dropping so far that once the the defensive lineman came in, he just dumped it, and he had a lot of room with a convoy in front of him.
So Jones with the first half fumble, but other than that, frighteningly efficient. 20 for 23, 273. Buckeyes show pressure up the middle. They get through. Jones backpedals. A screen again to Harris, and this time they contain him. About a 4-yard gain. Cooper on the tackle.
Yeah, that's one thing about Steve Sarkisian. It's kind of that NFL model of, just keep going to it until they stop it. They bring Borland, who would normally be accounting for Najee Harris slipping out of the backfield. So back-to-back screens. And Devontae Smith on both of those plays was on the sideline. Now he comes back out, and he and Waddle now on the field together. Devontae Smith right here and Waddle right to his left.
Play action. Jones steps up right down the middle of the field. It's touchdown. Devontae Smith cannot be stopped. A truly special performance by the Heisman Trophy winner. 3 touchdowns in the first half.
You want to talk about a tough ask? Tough Borland, a middle linebacker, running on a seam route with a Heisman Trophy winner who's had a career night.
They had a watch party in Little Amite, Louisiana, his hometown, which is LSU country, and they could exhale and celebrate on Tuesday night. Another watch party tonight, you get the feeling they are going crazy as their favorite son is going nuts in his final game in a Crimson Tide uniform. Alabama stretches the lead. 3rd touchdown for Smith.
I just showed you where Devontae Smith was. He took a couple plays off after that punt return. He's in the inside. You'll see Ohio State safety Williamson work to the middle, and he's just going to hit this crease. And Tough Borland, the middle linebacker, is going to try to stay with him and try to get vertical with him. You just can't make that play. It's impossible for Tough Borland. And they split Wade and Williamson, the safety, in that seam.
Times they make it look easy, but it's play concept, playmaker, accurate quarterback. And Kirk, this is scary, but look at the last 39 drives Alabama's had in the first half. 39 drives, 30 touchdowns. That is frightening.
Frightening.
We thought LSU was maybe the greatest offense we'd seen in the sport last year.
For all the young receivers that play college football, don't just watch Devontae Smith. Watch how Devontae Smith plays. You see any trash talking from him? It's all work. It's all business. He's ready to get back out on the field. It's all business for Devontae Smith.
Well said. And it's been like that from the start of his college career. And it's going to continue on Sundays as well. Tomorrow night, 2 conferences represented here. The college hoops doubleheader. Top 10 matchup. Wisconsin against undefeated Michigan in the Chrysler Center. 9 o'clock. Crimson Tide Hoops team takes on Kentucky at Rupp on ESPN and on the app. Well, here we go again. Ohio State now has 1:48 before halftime to try to avoid the idea of Alabama getting the ball back to start the 3rd quarter and building a really big lead. So urgency now for Fields. They hand it off to Crowley, and he's knocked down. They do have 2 timeouts. Branch on the tackle, not spending it here. Fields just 6 of 15. He's been pressured frequently, a little off target at times. 4-man rush, escapes briefly. Flag comes down in the offensive line hit area before Allen knocks him down. This is a hold.
Couple different, looked like maybe Matthew Jones 55 with Barmore, who got by him pretty quickly.
Holding, offense, number 55, 10-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
But Barmore he's going up against a very good offensive line of Ohio State, 58. But he is using his hands, using rip moves, swim moves, just a handful in the interior. That time he works with his leverage and quickness to get by Jones, and Jones just grabbed onto him to try to slow him down.
Interesting clock management decision making here for both sides. Bama's got 3 timeouts, and Ohio State in no hurry. Kind of wary of Bama getting the football back.
The boxer trying to get to the end of the round.
Crowley knocked down. Final minute by Anderson.
Alabama calls a timeout. They're going to try to get the ball back again.
Can't blame them.
Jackson, another defensive lineman down.
And that is an area that Already the Buckeyes were thin coming in with Togiai and Tyreek Smith unable to go. They come out in the very first play of the game. Trey Sermon is injured, out of the game. So the guy had been such a hot hand on offense. It increases the burden on Justin Fields against this tough defense. For a while they were matching Alabama, but it's been tough to keep up in the second quarter.
To me it's all about Ohio State's defense, and we knew coming in what a challenge it would be. And we thought LSU's offense last year was historic, and this offense is, if you look at the numbers, pretty similar. They have a lot of different weapons, and it's been tough for Ohio State to match up out in space. They're trying to squeeze in the red zone, but give Mac Jones, the quarterback, Steve Sarkisian, all his playmakers, a lot of credit because they keep finding those one-on-one matchups and keep winning them.
It's the 26th consecutive game that Alabama's hit 35+. They do it here in the first half. They've scored in all but 2 quarters that they played this season. And think about that.
Yeah, and once you get down, what you got to avoid is panicking and starting to kind of press and trying to get points.
Easy to say.
Yeah, I know. And Ohio State's trying to work the clock here and just trying to see if they can get to halftime.
Yeah, that's Davis, Wyatt Davis, one of their top players who's down there. And you know that Sarkisian's not going to throttle back. It's just something to marvel at. The guy that you've such admiration for, Devontae Smith, who delivered that message in his Heisman Trophy speech. Everybody that's told they're too small, undersized, anything is possible if you work hard and dream big. And
yeah,
he was the guy that did not look like the most imposing receiver in the world when he arrived at Alabama, but has just worked and obviously has a great ability, but has made himself into an all-time great.
His attitude is everything, and he's real humble. He just continues to work hard to get better and better. Hopefully Jackson's okay. I mean, he's down. He's Ohio State, another defensive lineman that's down.
Let's take a look at what happened here. Yeah, and that's Big Davis there trying to get off the field.
Right here, 52.
Left side.
Davis running it.
Yeah, he's a guy that is a first-round type prospect and a leader up front. And talk about guys you don't want to lose. Sermon would be near the top of the list, and up front, Davis would certainly be a guy you did not want to see end his season, perhaps his career here. His face tells the story. It's going to take a whole lot as they decline the 10-second runoff. And now at 3rd and 14, Bama didn't have to spend a timeout there because of that injury. They still got 3 to work with. Against Surtain to the right side, bottom of the screen here. And just going to hand it off to Crowley, who will fall forward. And now Alabama will spend that timeout to preserve some seconds and give Jones, Smith, and Harris a chance to add on to this lead.
Yeah, 49 seconds. Mac Jones right now is in a zone, and Alabama with a couple of those timeouts. Again, the way they're playing right now, they're not only thinking field goal, they're going to try to probably get downfield with the Devontae Smith play.
Against Clemson, it was the second quarter that was historic for Ohio State. A 21-zip edge. Defense took the ball away from the Tigers, forced 3 and outs. Offense was overpowering. The Tide have flipped the script on them tonight, though. A 28-point explosion in the second quarter for Bama. Last thing they want to see is Smith back there to receive this punt. Low kick. It's deep. Smith retreats and makes a fair catch at the 28.
Well, they've targeted him 13 times. He's got 12 receptions, and there's been some creativity. He's obviously a special player. He can do so many different things. I mean, early in his career, he was a downfield vertical threat, but this year, the last couple of years, he's become a guy with his strong hands, his route running, just a complete receiver. And here, another well-designed play. Poor tough Borland, the middle linebacker, trying to stay with him. Just a mismatch.
tonight's Capital One rewarding performance. Talked about the comparison to LSU. They exploded in the second quarter against Clemson last year. The game was tied after one. Second quarter was decisive for the Bayou Bengals. Mechie, near side, weaves his way to the 35. Clock will roll as they spend the timeout here. And they will take it. So one more to work with here. 33 seconds. Reichert can kick it from as deep as 50-55 yards. So they've got to get about 20, 35, 30 yards in field goal range or so.
Yeah, they worked hard. When we went to practice, when the only practice I've been to all year, we went to practice a couple days ago, and they worked their 2-minute drill hard, good against good, and it's always fun to watch it get competitive. And they worked for moments just like this, just trying to get into field goal range with a timeout or two left.
It was fun to see a practice, wasn't it? It's been off limits all season long.
It has.
Appreciate, because of COVID, of course, we appreciate the access that Nick Saban allowed us. Alabama goes good on good, as they say. First team O against the first team D. About as competitive as it gets on a practice field. Where is Devontae Smith, you ask? Slot to the right as Harris motions back in. Jones looks over the middle. Harris again. Catch, stiff arm, first down. Clock stops momentarily. They move the ball to the 44.
Williamson got a stiff arm there from Najee Harris. He's just trying to get lined back up.
Jones again, and making the catch on his knees is Slade Bolden. They have to spend the timeout. It's not a first down. Ball into Ohio State territory. So 20 seconds. The final timeout. They've still got to move it another 15 yards, you'd think, to give Reichert, who hasn't missed a PAT or field goal all season long, a reasonable chance.
Not only that, Bama does use that last timeout, so changes it, you know, first down, stop the clock, and be able to get up to the line of scrimmage, spike it.
Steve Sarkisian is off to Texas, got to get things going in Austin. Doesn't look too distracted tonight. He said he was all in, calling plays. He's trying to assemble a staff, and as of tomorrow morning, he'll head out, and he says he'll celebrate tonight if they win, but then it's on to the Burn Orange Nation.
Yeah, he talked to us about moving on and feeling a commitment, obviously, to this team and these players, and wanting to finish it off before he even thinks about heading to Austin and starting that job.
There's another award winner, by the way. Broyles Award as the top assistant in college football this season.
Got Zach Harrison.
Jumps off, yeah. Move the ball 5 yards closer to field goal range.
Offense, number 79, 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
First time Texas has hired an assistant coach to be a head coach in 70 years. Of course, Sarkisian was a head coach at Washington and USC. That's on Alabama.
Yeah, they moved Alabama back. You know, the center maybe just moved the ball a little bit. I think that's probably what it was that made Harrison jump. Would be the only reason the umpire would see that and move Bama back.
Saban begs to differ over there. Still can't take a sack with no timeouts. Delivers across the middle, and no flag. Alabama wanted one as Wade was covering Williams. 3rd and 8.
He's in man-to-man coverage and grabbed onto the back of his jersey. I thought you might see a flag come out as well on a crossing route from Xavier Williams, but a no call.
So now they've got to get the first down, and if they don't get out of bounds, get up and spike it. 15 seconds. Buckeyes rush 5. Jones steps up, delivers down the seam, and that's nicely broken up by Wade that time as they deny Smith a catch.
Well, he did a good job of staying to the inside. He had outside help with Josh Proctor and does a good job of anticipating. See how he gives him inside? Because he's got help to the outside. And by the time he turns around, he's in such good position. The ball hits him right in the stomach just because he's in that great tracking position there.
So that's a small victory for Ohio State. Maybe not that small. They haven't had many tonight, but they force the first punt from Alabama. And Tide unable to extend the lead before they get the football back to start the third quarter. Wilson comes up and they ran into the punter. It would have to be a personal foul to be a first down. Let's see the ruling from this Big 12 crew.
Looked like it was Chris Booker, one of the backup defensive backs.
And the other number 33.
Running into the kicker, receiving team, number 32. That penalty is declined. It's first down, Ohio State.
So it's not enough to give Alabama a first down, so they'll decline it.
You're Ryan Day. 4 seconds ago, you take a knee here, you go in, you started talking about adjustments, which is a real strength of his offensively. It's one thing to try to figure out, okay, what can you do to score points? It's another thing to do what you just did on that series, and that's to get Mac Jones and the Crimson Tide offense off the field without scoring.
Overwhelming offensive display by Alabama yet again. They run 43 plays. They gain 389 yards and score 5 touchdowns. 4 of them passes by Jones, 3 of them caught by Devontae Smith. Najee Harris has a rushing and receiving touchdown. To Allison.
Thank you very much, Coach Saban. Clearly Devontae Smith is a special player, but what stood out to you the most in that first half?
Oh, he's done a great job of making plays for us. Stark's done a great job of putting him in position to make plays. You know, the whole offense is really playing well. We just got to play a little better on defense, get some more stops, made some mistakes that have given them big plays, and they're very capable on offense, so there's no scoreboard in this game in terms of how I feel.
Thank you so much, Nick. For more on Ohio State, here's Maria Taylor.
All right, Coach Day, you lose Trey Sermon, you're down 3 possessions. What adjustments do you have to make offensively at this half?
Well, I think, you know, that last 3 and out there was not good. You know, we don't connect on the screen pass. We got a real good chance of hitting that. And then we don't convert on third down. And then at the end, we're just trying to get out of the half. So we got to get a few stops on defense, get some momentum going. And as long as we get a couple first downs, we're moving the football. We just got to execute better.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Sad sight for Ohio State fans is Big Wyatt Davis helped to the locker room with the aid of 2 folks. Buckeyes, a lot of work to do. Alabama rolling up 18 at the break. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship Game presented by AT&T on ESPN.
(877-958-7146).
Savor the moment. Crimson Tide and Buckeyes with the championship of this surreal season. Devontae headed for the end zone, and Ohio State, they cash in the bubble recovery. Najee Harris leaps to the end zone. Devontae Smith cannot be stopped. Saw lots of the trademark windmill celebration for Devontae Smith. Set for the second half, the College Football Playoff National Championship Game presented by AT&T. Time will get the football up by 18. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor, and Allison Williams. It was a second quarter onslaught, Kirk. They scored in the first play of the quarter, added 3 more touchdowns, 28 points in the period.
Yeah, and if you look at the way that first half ended, so much focus on Alabama's offense, but really it was the Alabama defense. Ohio State a couple 3 and outs near the end of the first half. Ryan Day, of course, has got to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out a way not just to stop Mac Jones, but try to get his own offense and Justin Fields back on track.
Jones 25 of 30, 342 and 4 in the first half. Again, not the regular kickoff man with DiMaccio not there. It's a short kick. Smith able to stiff arm and just scoot for a short return to the 25. Live Moss Moments brought to you by Taco Bell.
Well, we talked about the 3-headed monster of this offense and what they can do. Mac Jones has been in sync, hadn't had a lot of pressure, but he has found his man. Devontae Smith making plays in the passing game. Najee Harris slipping out of the backfield, making a great catch, and then pitting the ball into the end zone. And this is a tough matchup for Ohio State. They put the safety to the middle of the field, puts a lot on tough Borland to try to run with the Heisman Trophy winner.
3 more touchdowns. He vaults past Ryan Broyles. That's the most ever for a Power 5 receiver. Career touchdowns. Figures to be a steady diet of one of those heads of the three-headed monster, Najee Harris, just kind of rolling here in the second half.
Mac Jones, we're talking so much about Devontae Smith, 12 receptions, 215. Look at the beneficiary, Mac Jones. He's missed 5 passes, 4 touchdown passes in the first half and 342 yards.
Jones, who grew up watching Tim Tebow as idol, he's also from Jacksonville. Tebow won a national championship on this turf against Oklahoma. It was a lot harder than this one appears to be so far. And a big hit by Werner. Back to catch the ball is Smith, and that time the linebacker delivered a shot.
You know, I don't think Devontae Smith ever had possession of the ball. In fact, at one point when Werner hit him, the ball was pressed against Werner and Devontae Smith. Watch the ball, it's kind of sitting there, and then it finally comes out. So no possession and an incompletion. Waddle coming back onto the field.
You're looking at Smith's arm. Big question was, would Jalen Waddle be able to defy the experts and the timetable and make a contribution tonight in an early 15-yard reception that set up Bama's first score? It's been used sparingly. Harris weaves his way to the 40. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
You know, the way that Devontae Smith was responding, I don't know if it's a finger. I don't think it's the arm. I think he responded so quickly and was kind of turning his head away from it. Maybe go back and take a look at that hit by Werner, but Bama now in a 3rd down.
And Smith in the 10.
Ohio State tightening up their coverage. Except on the edges against the tight end and Najee Harris at the top.
And in the slot, it's Mechie. First down near midfield. Tough to stop that.
It's man-to-man, and Mechie waits for Waddle to clear, and then he just comes in right behind him, sets a screen on Sevyn Banks. One to the outside, comes underneath him, sets a little pick, and gives Mechie room to get that separation from Sevyn Banks and a first down.
6 catches for Mechie. Short gains, but a compliment to the dynamic playmaking of Smith. 2 tight ends to the left. Harris motions back in. Jones steps up and delivers far side. Coming back to catch the ball is Jalen Waddle. And a big cheer from the Alabama folks on the far side.
Great to see Waddle even playing tonight, showing a lot of heart. You can see him in the noticeable limp, but boy, Shaun Wade, even with Waddle giving that huge cushion, makes it an easy throw underneath.
You know, Waddle broke the 2 bones in the lower leg. You have that plate and the screws put in there. You can get back to running in a few months, but to be out there doing this, they're special athletes, but they also recover at a special tempo.
Yeah, but I mean, he's in pain. You know, there are a lot of guys that think about their future, and they think about, I'm not going to play in this game. You know, this Alabama team, I'm telling you, the wiring of it is different. It's all about winning a championship. It's not about agents. It's not about the NFL, and Waddle's a representation of that.
Not this group, for sure. Harris makes the catch, and it's another first down. Told that Waddle's family and Jalen consulted with the coaches before the game to make a decision. Was it worth the risk of going out there? They decided that it was playing this game.
You can't keep these Alabama players off the field tonight, just like the Ohio State guys. But how about Najee Harris? He's not necessarily getting a lot of yards running the football. I mean, he's got 63 yards, but as much as we're focusing on what Devontae Smith has done, Najee Harris now 6 receptions out of the backfield, 76 yards, and that 1 touchdown. While Smith has been out, Waddle has come in, and Mechie is kind of stepping up as well. Here he is in motion.
And nowhere to go. But Quan Jackson's there. Just to reinforce, Kirk, Jalen Waddle is the 11th rated prospect. He's going to hobble off right now by Todd McShay. That's how highly thought of is he. Smith's the 4th rated overall player, but it's the number 11 player in the first round.
Right.
Out there hurt.
Out there playing for his guys. You know, he wants to play and be a part of this. like I said, this is if you're an Alabama fan, you should be so proud of the team and the chemistry of this football team.
And there's another slant. Williams that time. Tackled by Banks. Allison?
Guys, the thing to keep in mind with Waddle, too, is he has to get comfortable with how that ankle feels. It is healed. He has full range of motion. I was actually told he has already hit his pre-injury top speed, but it feels differently. So he isn't as comfortable as he usually would be. It's remarkable that he's even out there, and a testament to his dedication to the rehab plan that was set for day by day with this date targeted. He told them in the ambulance, he looked at the doctors and said, I want to get back for the national championship game.
And that was 11 weeks ago. Pump fake. They get it to Jaleel Billingsley. The young tight end from Chicago has been a serious weapon in recent games. Kind of a quiet night so far tonight. They haven't needed to use him.
Yeah, so far tonight. And, you know, he is a weapon that so often you get caught up in all the receivers. And he becomes a real threat because they're able to utilize him when the defense spends so much time with their safeties worrying about Mechie and, of course, Devontae Smith. Smith continues to be out on this drive, and as we've seen, Williams and others have stepped up.
No, Devontae hasn't mattered so far. Tide threatening again on 2nd and 5. Jones backpedals and just fires into the turf. Forrestal was in the neighborhood, but well covered. And Zach Harrison brought the pressure.
Yeah, really good job by Ohio State communicating on the crossing routes. Tough Moreland picked up Forrestal. Pete Werner picked up the crossing Xavier Williams. Mac Jones, one thing about it, I mean, he usually has answers. One of the answers is not scrambling. It's just not what he's known for. He's known for decision making and accuracy.
Big play for Ohio State's defense. A field goal would keep the margin at 21. Score a touchdown here, talking about a 4-score game. Harris slips through some tackles and leans for a 1st and goal. They have not been able to get him to the ground for the first guy tonight.
No, they had him. Vincent was in there. He had him. And then Pete Werner. Right in the middle. Watch 6 get off of the block. He's right there. He's got him wrapped up. And then Pete Werner's got still short of the first down, but tremendous leg drive and effort. Najee Harris knew exactly where he needed to go for that first down.
Najee's got it again on 1st and goal. They string it out, and Borland and Warner stop him at the line of scrimmage. Najee Harris talked about being one of the heroes, the unsung hero, but an important contribution in that championship game win over Georgia when he came off the bench as a freshman. He's from the Bay Area. They came short, well short. He was playing at a championship game at home, but trying to bookend his career with 2 rings.
Got to appreciate when he came in as a 5-star, he thought he'd walk right in, but there was Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris.
And that one broken up nicely. Wade got a hand in denying Mechie. And it's 3rd and goal.
But when Mechie went from the outside to the inside, right here, watch Sean Wade kind of work back to the inside. Gets a hand on him. That's why you heard maybe some of the crowd reaction. But going back to Najee Harris, you know, he shows up as a 5-star, and Bo Scarborough's there. Yep. Damian Harris is there. Josh Jacobs is there. You had to be patient.
Patience pays off. Doak Walker Award winner. 3rd and goal. Bubble screen. Big shot delivered. Harris just absorbed that blow. Proctor eventually gets him down.
He had 2 blockers in front of him, and it was about trying to beat Josh Proctor, 41, but he gets underneath the blocks. He's clean. Harris, I can't believe he held on to the football and even stood up and withstood that hit from Josh Proctor.
So Buckeyes do make a stand, keep Alabama out of the end zone. And here's the first field goal attempt tonight from Will Reichert. And he stays perfect in all of his field goals and PATs. Tide stretched the lead, but Ohio State stays within 21 midway 3rd quarter.
Bowl 24 Keeping It Real with Damian Lillard.
If you
Jeez.
Here's the hit on Devontae Smith that injured that hand.
Yeah.
Werner coming up, and Smith after this hit, all knocked loose. Yeah.
Watch the right hand.
He was kind of looking at his index finger of the right hand after the play. He's still in the tent, being checked out by the athletic trainers.
He's a tough kid too. I mean, for him to come out, obviously in a lot of pain, and he's been in that tent now for 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, he was inside the tent. The Tide were chewing almost half of the third quarter, a 16-play, 75-yard drive, resulting in the field goal. So that was more important than the 3 points they added to the lead. Fields and the Buckeyes need a quick spark.
To all the young kids out there that's not the biggest, not the strongest, just keep pushing, because I'm not the biggest. I've been doubted a lot just because of my size, and really it just comes down to you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Under 160 pounds when he was in high school, being recruited by all the big schools. Still incredibly skinny, but you talked about the long legs, the long arms,
yeah,
the gliding skills that he's got, and he's being showered with love from all kind of folks, including Buckeye fan LeBron James on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron James sums it up. One of the best pure receivers he's ever watched. How about Devontae Adams, one of the tops in the NFL? That's a pretty good line. And Pat Mahomes just says, hey, put everybody on him.
I'm not sure even that would work, Pat, but appreciate your defensive ideas. Meanwhile, Buckeyes had to sit there helplessly and watch Bama chew 7-13 on that last drive. Fields on the move, and it's Garrett Wilson coming back and making a nice catch. Fields was just 1 for his last 7 before that catch.
Yeah, gave him a nice little wheel route right down that right sideline. Good awareness by Garrett Wilson. Makes the catch, gets actually all 3 feet in for a first down. Ohio State trying to create a little momentum.
Buckeyes are pointing over at Christopher Allen.
Offside. Defense. Number 4 jumped into the neutral zone. Caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty.
It's the first time we've seen the adjustments that Ryan Day will have made in this second half. The first half, not only a struggle for the Buckeyes defense, but their offense lost that mojo that they had created early. They had 2 3-and-outs near the end of the half. So they're trying to get a quick score on the board to get within 14.
Top weapon Chris Olave has been held in check. Just 2 catches for 23 yards. Fields with a keeper, makes a cut, and in the clear. Justin Fields will finally be tracked down in the red zone, but that's the kind of spark they needed. Harris on the tackle.
Yeah, he's reading Allen on the zone read 4, and then he gets a good block right here by the tight end. His read comes down and takes Teague, and then he just makes Daniel Wright miss in the hole and picks up huge yards into the red zone for Ohio State.
From the pocket, lofted to the end zone, high throw, caught, Wilson, touchdown, Ohio State still alive. Exactly what they needed. Took barely a minute.
Yeah. 3 plays, 75 yards, and Justin Fields is woken up here. He's right here, works here, little slot fade, matched one-on-one. You got to be able to get separation. Branch looking back. I think he maybe thought he may have had some help behind him. Little slot, little inside move, little slant, and then away to the corner. And a perfectly located ball that time by Justin Fields. Put it up in the air where Wilson could adjust to it.
Yeah, threw it off the back foot, but as you said, precise location. And Ohio State quickly cuts into this lead. It's a 14-point game midway third quarter.
On a superstitious Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
.com/TV. Roman. Let's take care of it.
Goodyear providing aerial pictures tonight, making the plays that move you forward. Goodyear, more driven. Hard Rock, one of the more photogenic stadiums from the air. Shame that it's not filled. A shame we don't have the two bands here, Kirk. I really miss the $1 Million Band, the best damn band of the land, as Ohio State's excellent band is known as. You don't have Brutus, Buckeye, or Bill, or Big Al, the two iconic mascots. Look forward to welcoming the pageantry back next season.
Can't wait.
Shout out to the band members of both schools who are home watching, unable to be here.
Devontae Smith continues to be in that tent. He's been in there now almost, actually a little over 20 minutes. Went in there at about 10:27.
This is not normal.
No, I mean, usually when you have a player go into a tent potentially that long, a lot of times you take him into the locker room and do whatever you need to do. So I'm sure they're still very hopeful to be able to get him back. In the meantime, Waddle is back out on the field. Mechie takes on new responsibility as a go-to guy in Ohio State. Without 6 out there, they try to dial up pressure and see if they can get after Mac Jones.
And it's Brian Robinson spelling Harris, that tailback here. And they feed him. He makes a cut. Buckeye defense on the field for so long, for 16 plays. The only bad news about that last sequence, they got to go right back out there and find some energy, regroup quickly.
Yeah, and you know, Devontae Smith is coming out of the tent, I'm being told, and see if he's able to come back out. You know, if there's anybody that can, it'll be him. Maybe he's still has a towel over that hand. But Bama's been attacking through the air tonight, and you know, they'll continue to do that, but they also want to try to continue to work clock the way they did that last drive.
Second down throw, near side. Waddle just cradles the football.
At some point, Kerry Combs, as a defensive coordinator, even though the plan was to be soft in coverage, keep things in front of you, at this point in the game, under 6 minutes to go and down 14, you wonder if he starts to think about tightening things up, especially without Devontae Smith and Waddle kind of hobbling around. Trust Banks and Wade to tighten up that coverage.
Harris back in the game on 3rd and 2. Smith making his way to the Alabama locker room after the long stay in the tent. Still with that towel over the right hand.
Condensed formation. They'll try to get outside with Najee.
Jones scrambles, pump fakes, and just flips it. And in stride, it's Billingsley, knocked out hard by Borland.
And that ball
for a fumble.
Tough Borland's act. You know, like he knocked it loose and he came up with it. Good awareness by Mac Jones to not give up on it. It takes a while. He's scrambling, and how about Billingsley working with him, able to pull away from tough Borland. He gets up in the air, and then Borland hits him.
Let's see if the ball appears to
definitely
be in control when it hits the ground. Right.
Yep.
So first down at the Buckeyes 45. Billingsley, a quiet start. He's got sod up in that face mask, but he's going to get involved in this game now.
Ohio State, maybe they're potentially asking, are they going to call timeout, try to get a review? They're asking want to talk to the officials.
Seemed pretty clear on our replay that Billingsley had control of the football when he hit the ground.
Yeah, he was down.
And Ryan Day and Nick Saban, both head coaches in this game, were among the 24, and to look at it here, 24 FBS head coaches who, despite best practices and the protocol, who got COVID. Day made a serious sacrifice. Continue to show it. It's not going to be a fumble.
Did Ohio State call a timeout, or did the replay booth buzz down to review this? I mean, you can see Ryan Day, he wants that looked at, but he's clearly down.
You know, they've not charged him with a timeout, but that didn't really deserve the lengthy look that it's getting. Anyway, Day living in a guest house behind his main house for 7 weeks.
By Ohio State. It's a 30-second timeout.
Think about that sacrifice. Couldn't hug his daughters, he said, for 7 weeks, and then ended up getting COVID after that. But Saban's journey was different, but both these guys, felt the impact, Kirk, of the virus.
Yeah. Ryan Day missed the Michigan State game, and Nick Saban missed the Auburn game. That was a big timeout. They charged a timeout there because he wanted them to take a peek. And when you're down 14 with 5:20 to go in the third, you want to try to hold on to those timeouts.
Yeah, there's no way to get that look at it without using the timeout, but I agree with you. That might come in handy later. In the meantime, Tide on the move again.
And Chris, I want to see if they decide to start tightening up the coverage instead of giving up those underneath throws.
They fake it to Robinson. Jones steps up, eludes pressure. You know, he's not an electric runner with the football, but he's got great pocket sense, doesn't he? Escapability, instincts.
Yeah. I mean, it's now he looks like he's limping as well. Ohio State they got pressure with 4. Watch the backers. They're dropping in coverage. Cooper does a good job of forcing him to step up, and then he just sees he's got room to work. And you're right. It's just an awareness and a feel, and he's athletic enough to pick up that first down.
Warner kind of fell on him and may have gotten Jones in the leg there. He's up and moving around okay. First down. Robinson forced outside, and Warner eventually able to tackle him along with Borland. Allison, what do you have?
Well, Alabama has confirmed it is a hand injury for Devontae Smith. They've taken him in the locker room for further evaluation, and at this time he's questionable to return.
It's too bad. We were enjoying the Devontae Smith show. 12 catches, 215 yards, and the hat trick of touchdowns in the first half. His night may be done. We'll keep you posted. 2nd and 6. Robinson again. Scoots into the secondary. Still running, spinning, and banging down near the 10. Fresh legs into Spell Harris and showing you his skills.
But a good job there by the left side. Watch 65 get a good push. Forrestall comes around the tight end. It just opens up. Ohio State had Browning coming upfield, kind of got him out of position, but each time Alabama gets a first down, not only are they getting closer to points, but that clock just keeps running.
Harris is not in there, but he's no picnic to tackle either.
Robinson's a beast.
Hometown guy from Tuscaloosa.
Such a good runner, physical.
1st and goal. Robinson has it again. Runs through the tackle of Warner. Stiff arm to Borland. It takes 4 Buckeyes to finally knock him down.
Ohio State, we've seen them tonight in the run game get their hands on these ball carriers. They just can't bring them down. I mean, it was Harris earlier. Now it's Robinson. He goes through Pete Werner, who's a really good tackler. And he's there. He's wrapped up around him, and he's right at the line of scrimmage. He shakes him and just keeps moving downfield.
It's hard to find a more sure tackler on Ohio State's defense than Warner. Sark taking notes there. Tide threatening again. That's Bolden who came in motion, got it in the flat, and got a touchdown. Slade Bolden dives into the end zone for his very first career touchdown, and Matt Jones there to celebrate with the sophomore from Louisiana. A special moment, your first career touch, and it's in a championship game.
He was really in orbit motion, full speed. Sean Wade, who has him man-to-man, is jogging. Watch, here he's going to go here and around. Sean Wade, who has him, watch the speed in which he trails him. It just doesn't look like he's at full speed, so he gets outflanked, and it ends up costing him by not being in position.
Bolden, then sawed off, bearded slot receiver, 22nd catch of the season, and it's a sweet one, finding the end zone as the Tide stretch the lead back to 21 inside of 3 to play in quarter number 3. Tide keep marching. 75 yards in 8 plays, take almost 4 more minutes off the clock, and they are in charge in Miami.
Rated RP2M.
Exploration.
All that bad stuff is good. It's quality food.
Well, through 3 quarters, Kirk, Mac Jones' stats in this championship game pretty darn close to Joe Burrow for the complete victory over Clemson in the Superdome a year ago.
It's been incredible to look at the numbers as the year has gone on, the way this offense has been able to put up numbers. Because when we watched LSU last year, we're like, we'll never see an offense like this again. And here we are with Alabama, who lost so many weapons. I mean, you lose Tua, right? You think, okay, the receivers, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, how is this offense going to be? And they've been as productive as any that Nick Saban's ever had.
But you got two wizardry kind of play callers in Brady and Sark. Take a look at Ohio State's last drive.
The last drive, you and I talked about how important it would for them to be to not just score, but try to score fast, and they did. That zone read play, and then good to see Justin Fields be able to get out in the open field and make a play with his legs, and comes right back the very next play and puts it right on the money to Garrett Wilson up in the air, where he was able to adjust in the back of the end zone. But Alabama answered, so putting even more pressure on Fields in this offense.
Fields was in a funk until that last drive. A couple of completions and a big run. Fake it to Teague. Fields rolls and fires to Olavi, who comes back and makes a catch. Just his third tonight. It's a first down.
Yeah, kind of a quiet night. He had such the big game against Clemson. He made so many plays, 6 catches and 132 yards and a couple of scores.
Surtain was on him that time. Hasn't been much easy access for this Ohio State offense tonight.
Because Ohio State slows down, you see Surtain now able to move over. They get Helms the nickel back off of coverage.
Teague running to the boundary and shoved out by Daniel Wright after a short gain.
Now, Pete Golding has done a remarkable job with his defense this year. I mean, I talked earlier about how they lost Jared Maiden, Trevon Diggs, Xavier McKinney, Shaim Carter. So many great players and experienced players in the back end, and it showed early in the year. They had a lot of miscommunication, but man, through the year, through experience, trial and error, they've really grown up to become an outstanding secondary.
Fields on the keeper, takes off, slides down, begins the slide at the 42. They'll spot the ball there. Helms was in the neighborhood, and now it's 3rd and 3.
Keep in mind, I mean, this secondary is playing without Jordan Battle, 9, who went out with a targeting call in the first half, and he's truly become one of the vocal leaders of the back end.
Fields takes a look, gives that clamp, and now they make their adjustments. And the Tide move around on their side. Hand off. And not getting there is Teague. It'll be 4th down. Dylan Moses stopped him. They had no choice but to go for this.
Yeah, but Barmore is, I mean, I'm telling you, I know that Devontae Smith's the player of the game on the offensive side, but Barmore is having a big night.
4th down, and Teague is dropped right on cue. That man again, Christian Barmore with the tackle for loss, and the Tide take over.
And Alabama, because of the hurry up, they're having a hard time just getting set up. He back-to-back plays, 58, is able to get off of the block by Josh Myers and into the backfield. I mean,
what a play.
It's big-time play, 310 pounds, moving like that.
He shot a gap in a hurry, Kirk.
Uses his hands, has such quickness for an inside player, making a name for himself tonight.
And that is crucial. Alabama now up by 3 scores, short field to work with, can just about hammer in the last nail.
You know, he's been known as a pass rusher early in his career, but really has developed to become that kind of player for Alabama. He's really grown up.
They looked at Jones's leg. He's back in the game. Harris returns as well. Najee's got it. And Allison, what did you learn about the condition of Jones' leg?
Well, they've spent some time looking at it. Actually had ice on it for a little bit. He's definitely in some pain, but he told all the guys, hey, I'm good, and he wanted to get right back out there.
Here it is again. Warner landing on that leg. Closing in on a championship, into a dream season. Last game in all likelihood at Alabama. He's not going to come out of the game unless he absolutely has to. Final 30 seconds of the third. It's Harris in motion. They fake it to him and now fire downfield. Mechie in space, breaks a tackle and dives down near the 15. He's quietly had a strong night in the shadow of the spectacular Smith performance.
And so they're going to motion, and then he hurries, and he's trying to get the linebackers to be impacted. Then they fake the throw. Watch this. They fake the throw out here to get the defense concerned, and then they create a little seam for Mechie right behind it. They get caught up in Najee Harris with the motion, with the quick acceleration, pump fake, defense gets out of position, and then Mechie's in the hole.
Tied in the red zone. Alabama 1 quarter away from another national championship. Would be a 7th for Nick Saban. You're watching the College Football Playoff semifinal or championship game presented by AT&T and ESPN.
There's a certain kind of person.
AFC $20 fill-up today.
Set for the final quarter. Welcome back to the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Tied by 21 and threatening to add to the lead. Seems that Devontae Smith's night may be over. Looking at that hand injury. Mac Jones playing hurt in front of Harris. In his first down play. Harris into heavy traffic off the left side, picks up 3. Antoine Jackson stopped him.
Antoine Jackson has been playing a lot with Teron Cage for Tomi Togiai in the middle. We've seen Teron Vincent. Jackson holding his own when he's been out there. Ohio State goes back to that 4 linebacker look where Browning and Hilliard come on the field together. It's almost like I said, a 4-4 look. Ask a lot of Browning and Hilliard to play in space with that kind of look.
Fake to Harris on the slant. Mechie makes the catch, is hammered hard by Proctor, but it's a 1st and goal inside the 5.
Proctor keeps his head up instead of going for that knockout shot. There's Devontae Smith.
Maybe walking near an ambulance in the tunnel. X-ray room is also down this hallway. What a shame, frankly.
Yeah.
Showcasing why he won the Heisman Trophy pretty easily over Trevor Lawrence. Taking a peek at the game, the last thing he wants to do is leave his teammates and not see the job done and not be able to celebrate with them.
Such a competitor, wants to be on that field so bad.
Harris stopped short. Najee trying for his 3rd score tonight, matching the total by Smith. X-ray room is where Smith ended up. We'll keep you posted. Anderson reporting that Mac Jones also dealing with some pain, leg injury. McMillan is the linebacker, lines up at fullback in front of Harris, and behind number 40's block. Najee makes it look easy. Goes in standing up. There is his 3rd touchdown, and Alabama closing in on that national championship trophy.
McMillan leads the way. Watch 70 Leatherwood kick out block on Zach Harrison, and behind McMillan he just walks into the end zone for that touchdown.
It's fun when you're a backup linebacker. You get a chance to go in there and block, which isn't glamorous, but you get to be on the field when the touchdown is scored.
Absolutely. He's done a good job down in the inside that two-yard line tonight. Leading the way for Najee in those 2 touchdowns.
Shout out to the man who's snapping here. Thomas Fletcher, number 45, the most experienced Alabama player. His 55th consecutive start at long snapper. That's a lot of starts. Has not messed up very often.
What if you to finish today at fairwayford.com.
Big number 1.
Tonight's AT&T 5G top performance. Here in Miami, we talked about 3-headed monster for the Crimson Tide. Jones, 36 of 44, 464 and 5, 3 of them to Devontae Smith. Najee Harris is about 154 all-purpose yards. He's also caught 7 passes to go with those rushing yards.
We also talked about the red zone. Would Bama score in the red zone? Would Ohio State hold them out? Bama's been inside there 5 or 6 times. They have 5 touchdowns in the red zone.
Allison, an update on the condition of Mac Jones' leg.
Yeah, he continues to receive treatment. Head athletic trainer Jeff Allen rubbing ice on his lower leg. And you can tell, guys, just looking at Jones, he is in an incredible amount of pain right now.
Jeff Allen, as good as they come, Kirk. Part of the success of this amazing football machine in Alabama is the medical staff and the athletic training staff. Absolutely top-notch.
They've given you and I treatment before even. Jeff's the best.
Concern in the face of Holly Jones, Mac's mom. And Alabama 13 minutes away from an incredibly satisfying end of this season, although a mom's concern is going to be for her son's health. Jones projected as a late first rounder. Olave nowhere to run after the catch. Patrick Surtain was right there.
Well, that was really good job by Surtain, anticipating and getting off of the would-be block by Rucker, the bigger tight end. 88's going to try to block him. And watch Surtain in the back right. He sees it, feels it, gets around and off the block. He wasn't able to beat it, but he came up so quickly, his force is able to disengage from the tight end Rucker.
3rd and 13. Fields heaves it long. Catch Olave that time, beating Job, and it's a first down.
Well, that is a long throw, and he got pressure. He wasn't able to really follow through on the ball. That's why it kind of floated up in the air. Job's, but he got it out early enough that Olave made the play because Job slips.
Fields wanted to launch downfield, instead finds Olave. They'll take the 11, and he steps out of bounds. Needed to be Superman tonight, didn't he? You got to be brilliant at quarterback to beat Alabama these days. It was going to be hard to match that performance against Clemson. A little unsettled early, had a bad patch, and he's been pressured a lot tonight. Lofted in the air, incomplete, intended for Williams.
I think he's got to continue to show a lot of heart. He's done that over the last couple games. Ohio State played Clemson. A lot of people doubted him, doubted the Ohio State team, and he really played with a chip on his shoulder, had the 6 touchdown passes, impressed the nation. And tonight things get sideways on him, and here we are with 11:51 to go, and they're down big. And sometimes you can learn as much about a quarterback in these situations as any.
From the pocket, flipped across the middle, and catch is made by Jackson Smith and Jigba, then freshman getting involved for the first time, tackled by fellow freshman Branch.
I'll tell you, Pete Golding has done a really good job of mixing up looks. He's been getting a lot of people on and off the field, trying to do the best he can of trying to give Justin Fields a lot to try to diagnose and try to read. It's been affecting his rhythm tonight for sure.
Rucker, tight end, little quick off the mark.
Start. Offense number 78, 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
He flagged the tackle, Eddie Frere. Penalties not a huge factor tonight, just 4 on Ohio State. Bama penalized 5 times. Three true freshman receivers in the game now for Ohio State. And Marcus Crowley is the back. Fields avoids the rush and flips it to Smith and Jigba again. It's a first down.
Yeah, and it was Barmore who twisted around from the inside to the outside. He's right here. He works around. That's who eventually gets pressure on Fields. He does a good job with his pocket awareness, kind of feeling that and keeping his focus downfield and making a very accurate throw on 3rd down.
Crowley tried to squirt through the opening, but Ben Davis got an arm on him.
Coming into this game, a lot of people thought after the way Ohio State played against Clemson that they'd have an advantage at the line of scrimmage against this defensive line from Bama, but they have really held their own up front, led by Christian Barmore.
Not many offensive lines have outplayed an Alabama defensive front in recent years. Fields gets the adjustment. Rucker comes in motion. Crowley again. Bangs forward. Physical tackle by Daniel Wright. It'll be 3rd down. Buckeyes a little methodical here. Down by 4 scores.
Bama's just trying to keep all the potential big plays. Keep them out. Keep everything in front of the defense. Trying to work, make Ohio State work that clock.
Ryan Day got Fields' attention. Got the adjustment in. Bama brings pressure. Fields has to step up and does escape. Gets a block on the edge. Nice one from Rucker. Barmore was in there quickly, but it's a 1st down.
Yeah, Barmore again. This time he goes by the freshman. How about Paris Campbell? He's known as a tackle. How about coming in here and having to take on Barmore? But he does enough of pushing him around and giving Fields a chance to step up and eventually pick up that 1st down. Pretty good coverage downfield, but again, you always got to be able to account for Justin Fields and his legs on those 3rd down plays.
Fields steps up, delivers. It's Olave, makes the catch and gets down very quickly after a 5-yard gain.
Paris Johnson, the tackle who's in at guard right now. They've had some injuries and some concerns. You know, Harry Miller missed. He's back tonight, but he missed with COVID for Clemson. Matthew Jones, but right now it's Paris Johnson in at left guard.
Fields for the end zone. Smith and Jigba comes back. Touchdown, Ohio State. As the freshman gets into the scoring column.
He's got a bright future. Smith and Jigba. This ball is thrown on that slot fade. Look at the ball. Look at the location of that ball into the corner. Looked like he may have bobbled it towards the end. Ooh, that ball went in the air. That ball went into the air as he was going out of bounds. Perfectly placed ball by Justin Fields.
They're trying to get the PAT real quick here.
See right there? It's separation. They're waiting.
Yeah. They tried to get the quick PAT, but the Big 12 crew on it.
It's under review.
We'll take a break while they check it out. But on the back end, we'll get Bill Lamagna a rep. Get him to weigh in on this one. It's been a quiet night from the right end of the booth. We'll change that. Did he have control when he broke the plane? Let's take a look.
This is the new iPhone 12 Pro with
new Dr. Pepper and cream soda.
A delicious duet.
The College Football Playoff National Championship game is presented by AT&T. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. And in part by Taco Bell's Nacho Fries. And Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Replay review takes the touchdown off the board as we expected they would. Bill Lamagna with the explanation here.
Yeah, he started to have control, but he didn't finish it. And he bobbled the ball. And then by the time he recontrolled it, he either stepped out of bounds or he hit the pylon, which is going to make it an incomplete pass. So it's a correct call by replay.
So the ball's back outside the 20, and it's a 3rd and 4.
End of the day, ended up being a great catch, just out of bounds. Great throw, too.
Great throw.
Unbelievable.
For a shortened season, Kirk, Fields has a whole lot of Buckeyes on that helmet. And only game 8. On the run, delivers a strike. Olave makes the catch, and it's a 1st down.
Barmore, I was just about to circle him, keep an eye on him, and he ends up hitting Justin Fields after he threw the ball on a flag thrown right at his feet for the hit. He has been a handful for the Ohio State offensive line to deal with tonight.
out of Philadelphia, third-year sophomore, so is draft eligible. And Todd McShay told me today.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Number 2 rated defensive tackle among the draft eligible guys.
After tonight, I don't know. I mean,
put him up to number 1.
I'm not really up to date on my draft status of players the way Todd is.
You got time though for the draft.
Yeah, I do. But he's really helped himself tonight, just dominating the interior. Ohio State's very talented inside there.
You know, McShay said that there are 13 draftable players in this Bama team. 6 have first-round grades, including Barmore. Fields from the pocket, trying to get the ball to Crowley across the middle, working up.
Well, what makes him so good is he's not just a big body. I mean, you're seeing tonight how sudden he is, how quick he is, how explosive his hands are. And he's a disruptor. He has like almost outside linebacker defensive end skills of an athletic skills, and yet he's at over 300 pounds.
Every recruiter in the country looks for guys just like that. Big, strong, and quick. Second down, Fields Hills has it and tried to deliver a shot to Smith-Njigba. Branch was in coverage as it bounced off the goalpost.
Justin Fields kind of running into the end zone, halfway to the end zone, trying to state his case to the official that Branch was holding on to the arm of the intended receiver, Smith-Njigba. Did not get the call. Been impressed with Justin Fields showing no quit. Obviously the game is out of reach, 8 minutes to go, but he's fighting all the way to the end. You got to respect that.
Sure is. It's been a methodical drive here. 16th play of the drive coming up. 3rd and goal. And Olave incomplete. Could not control the ball before stepping on the end line, say the officials. Christian Harris was in coverage. It's 4th and goal.
Again, remarkable catch. Great position right behind the linebacker, 8 Harris. He just tries to get his feet down. The right foot looks like comes down first, and he's right on the white line.
So the 17th play of this drive. It's taken more than 5 minutes.
That left toe may have touched. The left toe may have touched. Watch the left toe. It's tough to see with the black cleats on the black paint, but they might want to take another look at that. Watch the left foot. Yeah, it touched. That's a touchdown.
Just in the nick of time, they do run in and whistle. The booth does want to take a look at that.
Timeout on the field.
What an effort there by Olave. Unbelievable. Are you kidding me?
Chris Fowler here, Dos Equis' new 4x4 commentator.
Hard batteries, only sold by Advance and CarQuest Auto Parts.
Well, Chris Olave made a balletic attempt at a catch. Got the left toe down. The issue for replay, did he have full control of the football when the left toe was down before the right toe hit the white paint?
And watch the ball move just slightly there. I mean, I was so focused on that left foot, I assumed he had full possession when the ball first touched his hand, but it separated there.
AT&T 5G pylon cam, so the call upheld. 4th down. Empty backfield for Fields against a 4-man rush. Can he get there on the ground? No, he fires high and incomplete. Off the hands of Julian Fleming. Delivered a fastball when he didn't need it.
Well, and you know, you got a young freshman in Fleming who's running from your left watching to the right, and he doesn't settle. He's running full speed, and the ball, because you said the velocity of that, tough for him to come back. You see his movement going from the right to the left, and the ball, I think Justin Fields expecting the young freshman to settle there instead of continuing to move. And he's just unable to hold on to it.
So the Buckeyes.
Mac Jones still limping out there. I'm sorry, Chris.
Buckeyes march at 17 plays, Kirk. Chew up almost 5.5 minutes. And yeah, Mac Jones, despite being in clear pain, as Allison has reported several times, back out there standing at the 1-yard line as they snap it from the 6. And this is Harris. He just does not want to come out of the game clearly. You got Bryce Young as the 5-star heir apparent at the position, but he's not made an appearance yet. Mac wants to finish it.
You know, Mac Jones, beyond the physical skills with the accuracy, to me it's more than anything else, it's the preparation and the ability to process coverage and make quick decisions that makes him so good to go along with that accuracy.
Devontae Smith returns in his sweatsuit with that right hand heavily bandaged, the index finger seeming to be the problem, but it's certainly good news for him that at least he'll be able to watch the last minutes play out and celebrate with his teammates this national championship. Played such a massive role. Imagine 12 for 215 and 3, all in a half. Didn't even play the second half other than that one play.
Incredible. And you know what? He's won all the individual accolades and hardware, and he wanted to come back out on this field because he wants that big trophy. See the bandage around those two. It looks like the index finger and the middle finger. But Chris, it was all about getting the big trophy tonight. That's why he had to get back out here, I'm sure.
No doubt. Heisman's a pretty big trophy.
Oh, yeah.
Biletnikov's a big trophy. Maxwell, Walter Camp, but the team trophy.
Yeah, his focus has been on winning this national championship, and this is where he sustained that injury when Pete Werner hit him as he's kind of bobbling that ball.
You got the Heisman mask on. Nice souvenir. Too bad that he didn't get a chance to share the experience in New York with fellow finalists, including his quarterback, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and Kyle Trask. Welcomed long distance to the club by about 30 Heisman Trophy winners who joined us virtually. Ugly punt fielded on the fly. Wilson knocked down after a short game. Curtain call for Devontae. Got to be the MVP tonight, doesn't he? Even in a half?
Absolutely.
Protection Spotlight brought to you by Allstate. They've been protecting all year this Alabama offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line. Winston Joe Moore Award is the top offensive line in the country. They've done a good job at protection, not only taking care of Mac Jones, opening up some holes, and even getting an assist by the backup linebacker Josh McMillan, who helps him out. But impressive performance against that Ohio State front.
Leatherwood, Brown, Owens, Ekiyor, and Neal. Landon Dickerson, the Remington Award-winning center, injured against Florida, was out there as the captain on the coin toss. And Alabama, it's that guy again, Christian Barmore, making a name for himself, maybe making some money, moving up the draft board. A monster night.
Yeah, Paris Johnson moved from left guard now to right guard, and he's just got a misunderstanding. He steps down, and the last thing you want to do is give a guy who's had such a big night just a free pass to the quarterback. Just a misunderstanding, miscommunication. Tough on a true freshman to move, even though he's known as a tackle. He's played left guard tonight, and now he's playing right guard, and he's going up against a guy who's probably going to be a first-round pick.
Teague in the flat. He's knocked down right there. Good open field tackle by Josh Jobe.
You know, we're witnessing, to me, a dynasty with Nick Saban. I mean, this team deserves all the accolades. Everything that people say about them, they deserve. But this guy right here, I don't know. You know, I know Alabama fans appreciate him. The nation needs to appreciate the job that he's doing and the way his teams conduct themselves and carry themselves. It's going to be his 7th national championship, 6th in Tuscaloosa.
Fields, and as he's going to the ground, he used the ball away. Saban turned 69 on Halloween. There's been talk for years that maybe, one more title, that's all he needs. But the guy has just rediscovered hunger, rejuvenated, loves this group of players, and rose to the challenge of this. He said, this is why you want to be a leader in the sport, to meet the kind of challenges and adapt the way all coaches have had to this year.
And it's so hard to avoid complacency. I mean, they've been, up there since 2008, battling other teams and brands. Clemson's been up there, of course. Ohio State's had their shot, LSU. But Bama's been consistent since all the way back in 08. And he's going to become the all-time 7th national championship, he ends up beating Bear Bryant, who he was tied with 6.
And the 7 that he's earned, all won in either BCS or playoff championship games. A little bit different than in the old days when you could win based on a service poll. Saturday, January 23rd, UFC 257 from Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. McGregor against Dustin Poirier in the main event, 10 Eastern on pay-per-view. Prelims at 8 o'clock on ESPN. Go to ESPNplus.com/PPV. So the Tide inside of 5 minutes away from national championship they will claim as the 18th in school history. Some of those in the pre-poll era. 13 since the AP poll came along in the mid-30s. And Robinson still running hard, bangs out across the 30-yard line. They'll have some significant losses on this offensive side of the ball. Najee Harris moving on along with Jones and Smith. But that defense, Kirk, we've talked a lot about, almost intact. They return.
Absolutely. You know, they open up next year in Atlanta against Miami. But this team has been on a mission all year. When Devontae Smith decided to come back, Alex Leatherwood decided to come back, Najee Harris decided to come back, Landon Dickerson was there at center. This team, it's been all about winning. And they've been focused on, despite all the outside noise and the distractions and the global pandemic. And it's refreshing to see a team focus like that instead of sometimes on the individual status and thinking about your future. This team's been focused on winning and finishing this season.
To circle back to Saban, many believe his resume was already the most impressive in the history of the sport. Didn't need this championship to cement that dynasty, but it certainly adds more ammunition to those that believe that no one's ever done this job better than that man.
No, not at all. There's so many great names that are out there, but to me, he's at the top. You're right. He didn't need to win necessarily. You're right tonight to prove that. But as you say, it sure helps getting that 7th.
When he was Ryan Day's age, he was a long way from winning a championship. He was a defensive coordinator for the Browns. Of course, won the first title at LSU. Came down here to Miami, coached the Dolphins for a couple of years, and then left after 2 years to go to Alabama. And that was the smartest move maybe any coach has ever made. This looks like the curtain call for Mac Jones, who will limp to the sidelines. Not 100%, but wholly satisfied and joyful about what he was able to achieve in the field where his boyhood idol, Tim Tebow, also won a national championship. Well done, Mac Jones, in your first year as starter, huh?
What an incredible story of perseverance and development. And Mac Jones came in, sat behind Jalen Hurts and Tua, and a lot of people were already even passing him and thinking of Bryce Young and not even thinking about giving him a chance. It just gave him a bigger chip on his shoulder.
Kirk, you talked about his temperament. He told me a story. He went in when Brian Dable was the offensive coordinator in his freshman year. He was unhappy with his scout team play, struggled in scrimmages against those first teamers, and he was in tears. He was so disappointed in himself, and Dable, who's got a bunch of kids, kind of played more of a father figure than a coach, and kind of calmed him down. It was a turning point for him, and he's learned to manage the emotions, as you said, last couple of years.
Yeah, been around a lot of great offensive minds. Brian Dable, one of them, along with Sark, and I think also sitting behind Tua, sitting behind Jalen Hurts, learning so much as he developed.
Check this. Look at Jones with his tongue out on the podium trying to catch some confetti after Tua had thrown the touchdown pass to win the chip.
That's the young Mac Jones. That's the guy that Nick Saban says that how proud he is for how much he has matured individually, just his personality.
Jones to Smith could not sound more generic, right? But that combination could not be any more electric or dynamic. 12 more connections tonight. And now you're seeing Young. Many people thought he should get the job. Alabama fans were hoping he'd beat out Jones, and they thought, okay, Mac's going to be a transitional quarterback until we get this hot shot in here.
Right. And he said, bring it on. I loved what Nick Saban said about him, and this is for everybody. He said you have to be able to self-assess to improve and respect a critical eye, like a coach who wants to try to tell you how to get better. Oh, look at the big fellas coming in.
How about this? Blew out his knee in a freak play late in the win over Florida. He thought he was done. He's lobbied so hard to have one little moment. Remember when he was taken off from the cart and all the teammates were hugging him? Show of respect.
He's hugging every guy in that huddle. Really the glue of not just that offensive line, but a big part of the leadership, one of the pillars of this entire offense. Great to see Coach giving him a chance to come out and play in the national championship.
Great center and a gifted lobbyist, because there's really no way he should be out there, but wonderfully giving him a chance. He's a character, very sharp guy, as you typically are to play center at this level. Remington Award winner. Cool.
He'll be in the NFL for a long time. Smart guy.
6th year. Started off at Florida State. Made a smart move here. And Justin Fields showed his toughness, his grit in the semifinal. Could not duplicate that performance. In a season of chaos, the Crimson Tide are the conference. Constant excellence. Bama bludgeons the Buckeyes. And Saban steps past Paul Bryant with his 7th national championship. Championship unlike any before it, because the season was so unprecedented. You feel for the Buckeyes. They paid a big price. COVID ran through their team. They persevered. They got here, but could not match Alabama's firepower tonight, especially in that second quarter, which was decisive. A moment that we weren't sure we were going to see, Kurt. The season does reach the conclusion. Alabama, an emphatic champion in 2020.
Well deserved. This team earned it. Fought through a lot. And just their determination and focus on getting to this game this night, regardless of who the opponent was, and finishing the job. And they were able to do that tonight in grand fashion.
And Allison Williams now will visit with the all-time leader now in college football national championships.
Thank you very much, Chris. First of all, Coach Saban, congratulations. This was a season unlike any other. What did your team have to endure and overcome to stand here as champs?
Well, I think perseverance probably is the one word that describes this team the best in terms of what they've had to overcome all season long to go undefeated and win a championship. I'm really so proud of these guys. You know, this is a team that was always together. Everybody bought into all the principles and values of the organization and the program, and they just did a great job. They played together. They supported each other. This is a great team.
How would you describe this senior class?
A lot of good players. 5 that would be here that aren't. And we won for them too, because we appreciate what they did for the program. But this senior class provided great leadership for this team, as well as great performance. So, look, this is great for our fans. It's great for the University of Alabama. We've got great support here. I'm just so happy for these players. I wanted to win this game for these players because this game was all about what they've done all year long. And I'm just so happy for our team and our players.
It does give you a special mark as well, though. 7 national championships. That's more than any coach that has ever done it, Coach Saban. Are you even able to process what that means?
Not really. I'm just happy that we won tonight. And I really haven't thought about that because you're always looking forward. And I just love this team so much and what they've been able to do. I can't even put it into words.
Coach Saban, thank you and congratulations.
Thank
Chris.
you. I appreciate it.
It's always about the process, but never about processing his achievements. He genuinely makes it about the players and not about himself.
Yeah, and he genuinely means what he just said. I've been around Alabama. You have too. Since he's been the head coach, we've seen a lot of championship teams. We've seen teams come up a little bit short. And sometimes when they come a little bit short, you wonder about the chemistry and the want, the desire, and the focus. And what he just said, is so evident when you get around this team. They are a selfless group that was focused on, as he says, buying into the organization's values and getting to a championship. That's all that they cared about.
Extra challenging this year. He'll savor for about an hour and then think about 2021. Goodyear providing aerial coverage tonight to reach the end zone. All you need is drive. Goodyear more driven. Maria now with the offensive star for the Tide. He packed a lot into the first 30 minutes of play tonight.
He certainly did, Chris, and thank you so much, Devontae, for joining us, because for the first time we're having a guy talk to us after having to put on their workout clothes. How would you describe what it was like to watch this national championship from the locker room after performing so well in that first half?
Well, it just came down to the young guys just putting in the work every day for the week, knowing that if somebody went down, they was going to have to come in and do something big, and I just believed in them from the jump, and that's what we do. That's why you come to Bama.
There's so much adversity that this team had to get through. How would you describe how this championship feels and compared to the others after having to go through a season like 2020?
Just with COVID and everything going on, it just made things tougher and just made us more together as a team, with us being around each other more, waking up in the morning, getting tested, and just being there for each other and keeping our bubble small. And just the discipline of this team is just like no other.
You know, you're coming off of winning a Heisman. You got to do that as a finalist with your quarterback. You win a national championship. How would you describe the season if you had to put it into words?
Unbelievable. We just finished writing our story. That was the whole thing of us coming back. Just finishing the story that we wanted to write, and we did that.
You got to give me an update on your hand. How are you feeling? What have you been told by your athletic training staff?
I'll be all right.
As he would be, Chris. Devontae Smith, congratulations on a national championship and a spectacular career.
Thank you.
Maria, thank you. Within a week, he collects the Heisman, a bunch of other awards, and, of course, a national championship. Feeling no pain. Scott Van Pelt. And sports that are coming up next, we'll get much more reaction of Alabama's 52-24 victory here in the national championship.
Wow. I wish I could get a deal on a smartphone, but...
Coming up on SportsCenter, the trophy presentation is on the way. We will hear a bit more from head coach Nick Saban. Full reaction to Alabama's rout, Devontae Smith's record night. It's all on the way. Now we get back to Miami. Chris Fallon, it's all yours.
All right, Scotty, thank you. Congratulations, Bama fans. Get all the official locker room merchandise right now at the official CFP Championship store. Shop.collegefootballplayoff.com. When Paul Bryant passed New Rock, he won his 6th national championship. Many presumed that record would stand forever. It has not. Nick Saban steps past him. 7 national titles, the most ever. Let's reflect on a career that began at LSU in terms of championship trophies.
One of the best, Nick Saban out of Fairmont, West Virginia.
LSU wins the BCS National Championship. I think you're going to be in this game a lot in the future.
Bang! Getting a little physical here, boys. Nick still not smiling.
Another national championship for the Crimson Tide.
You saw the Gatorade shower this time. You reacted a little differently. What'd you do? I loved it.
Alabama again, the champions of college football.
Well, 2 days we're going to start on next year. We got a 24-hour rule around here.
Alabama back on top. Another building block in this dynasty. Could we get a smile? You got it, baby. You got it.
Fire to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
Oh, was that a good game or what?
No final play drama needed tonight. Just an emphatic performance to cap season of incredible consistency against all odds. Unbeaten and really untested except for one game by the Florida Gators in the 4th quarter. Saban and the Tide on top. Scott Van Pelt and SportsCenter will have highlights after this 60-second break and much more post-game coverage of Miami.
Thanks for watching this special presentation of ESPN, home of the College Football Playoff National Championship Game, presented by AT&T.
This is the new iPhone 12 Pro with 5G.
WandaVision, streaming only on Disney+.
Welcome to SportsCenter from our nation's capital. I am Scott Van Pelt. We will head back to Miami for the trophy presentation momentarily. Full reaction to Alabama's title win, DeVonta Smith's record night. Nick Saban establishes the all-time record with his 7th overall title during an unprecedented season, which will be part of one big thing. 6 of those titles have come at Alabama in the last dozen years. Here's how the record was set in Miami, taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Good, some fans in the building. It would have been nice if the world were in a different place to see it packed. We wish for better days. For Bama, you can't ask for much better than this. The Heisman Trophy winner, DeVonta Smith, gorgeous play design from Sark. Touchdown pass from Mac Jones, and it's 14-7. But Ohio State hanging. After a turnover, Trey Sermon got injured. Master Teague. Ohio State's got plenty of 4- and 5-star guys on this lineup as well. Buckeyes tie things up at 14-all. Ensuing drive. Jones, Smith, indefensible play. Nothing you can do at all. Later in the drive, pick your poison. We got 6. Oh, we got 22. Wheel, Steve! Wide open. And then put your foot in the ground. No one tackles that man the first time they hit him. Ever. 21-17. Wheel! DeVonta Smith. Again, 44 more. Later in the drive, they can get, what do you say, Steve? They can get anything they want, any way they want it?
On any down they want.
That's how it feels. About 12 for 215 and 3 touchdowns in a half. Don't put a linebacker on him. Now they got caught. Went fast, that's what happened there, but I mean, forget it. 35-17. I mean, you're truly wondering, what's this guy going to do in 60 minutes of football? As it turned out, the night ends after injuring his finger here. Disappointing to see it end that way, given the type of trajectory his evening was on. But again, you've got Harris. He scores 3 times. DeVonta comes back out on the field, and that's a flex right there, a mask with a Heisman on it. I don't know if you get that as part of the parting gifts and whatever else. But once again, Nick Saban celebrates a title. More on that a little bit later. And what was jarring about this game was that Alabama did to Ohio State what Ohio State does to the lesser-thans that they face in a regular season. Teams who can hang for a bit, but ultimately are bullied because they simply are overmatched. This Alabama team's a ruthless machine. It's rare you got them to a 3rd down. And if you did, they had multiple options to get the 1st down, then the touchdown. They could dial up whatever they want. Then you play the fight song, rinse, repeat. Winning like this isn't easy. All year long it was for Alabama. Time now to get back down to Miami. The men who called the game to hand out the well-earned hardware. Back down to Chris Fowler. Chris?
All right, Scotty, big wheel keep on turning. They're cranking Sweet Home Alabama. That's where the beautiful trophy is headed. And it is trophy time, so we'll send it down for the presentation. Reese Davis to provide over it. And as the Tide collect yet more hardware.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. And congratulations to Alabama on an absolutely spectacular performance tonight. And winning the championship for the 3rd time in the college football playoff era. Also, congratulations to Ohio State. The Buckeyes had a terrific season to get here and play in this championship game. Now to present the College Football Playoff National Championship Trophy, here is the Executive Director of the College Football Playoff, Mr. Bill Hancock.
Thank you, Reese. First, I want to congratulate and salute everyone on campus across the country who played such an important part in making college football happen during this remarkable season. And now, on behalf of the conferences and schools who manage the College Football Playoff, it's my honor to present the National Championship Trophy to Coach Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Leatherwood taking care of the trophy. Nick, when you consider everything that this team had to endure to get here and to be able to finish it in such emphatic fashion, what's the significance of that to you?
Well, to me, this is the ultimate team. All these guys bought into everything they needed to do to be the best players that they could be. There's more togetherness on this team than almost any team that we've ever had. And they had to overcome and persevere so much adversity through this season, and they've done it magnificently. And I'm so proud of this group for what they've been able to accomplish and going undefeated and winning the national championship.
What does it say about the resilience and just the desire to be on the field? So many guys got nicked up, banged up, and they just kept coming out to play some more.
Well, I tell you what, we had a lot of receivers step up today because we had a lot of guys banged up, and they did a remarkable job. But that's been the way we've done it all year long. Next man up, and I'm really proud of all these guys in terms of how they prepared so they could actually take advantage of the opportunities when they got it.
What was that ride that Landon Dickerson gave you across the field like right after the game?
Well, he wasn't supposed to play in the game. He just came off of surgery, but he wanted to go in and snap the ball, so we let him do that. So I guess he was pretty happy for me, but I enjoyed the ride.
Nick, congratulations, your 7th national championship.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now let's hand out some individual awards from the players. The Offensive Player of the Game for the College Football Playoff National Championship is the Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith. Devontae, you set a championship game record in the first half. How would you describe your mindset coming out here and how you wanted to attack this Ohio State defense?
Just came down to trusting my training. My coach prepared me this week for this game and just trusting my training and then put me in a position to do what I did.
When you look back over this season and the leadership that you were able to provide, what will be most meaningful about this team to you?
Just how everybody stuck together. When people last year they said the dynasty was over, we don't stop, we just keep reloading.
6 championships in 12 years and one of the greatest seasons in the history of the sport. Devontae, congratulations. And our defensive player of the game for his performance up front, Christian Barmore, defensive tackle from Alabama. I'll ask you a question first and then we'll go and then you can say whatever you want. Hey, Christian, people thought this was going to be a back and forth offensive game, and certainly both these offenses are terrific. What was your mindset? What was the most important thing you wanted to accomplish defensively tonight?
Well, me and my team, we came in Mamba mentality, so we came in to play physical and strong, and we came in dominate.
After everything that you guys have given up, you've given up social life, you've given up opportunity, test after test after test, to be able to finish it emphatically like that, what does that mean to you?
Well, we work hard. We work hard every day, even when we came back. You know, we the best.
Certainly proved that tonight. Christian Barmore, the defensive player of the game. Hey, Chris, I'm going to let this go now because Najee Harris told me a minute ago, he said, hey, we got to get this thing rolling because we got stuff to do. They got some stuff done tonight.
A well-earned celebration, Reese. You're right. They did everything well this year. They managed the COVID virus with discipline once the season began. It wasn't easy, as Reese talked about, the isolation, the detachment, the sacrifice these players made, and to be so relentlessly consistent. The Alabama way, we're used to seeing it, but Kirk, in this season, even more impressive.
6 championships. 10, 20 years from now, when we look back at this season, we'll remember a lot of different things. When I think of this Alabama team, I'm going to think about what Coach just said. He's had a lot of great teams, but this team is a team. Like, they bought into one another. And I don't know if it was COVID that maybe even pushed that further along, but the guys that came back, they could have gone to the NFL, led by Devontae Smith and Najee Harris. They were not just focused on coming back and just getting through a year. They came back with the purpose of improving, but winning a championship. And that drive and that focus, when your best players are focused like that, permeates across the entire roster. And that's why they've been able to look it down and see that confetti coming down with that trophy.
Well said. Not the preseason #1, that was Clemson, but the Tide, the clear favorite, wire to wire since the CFP rankings came out. That chemistry built in the anxious offseason, and all that roster talent, that tremendous class that came in 2017, won championships as freshmen, cap it off with another one as seniors. The constant in this confusing, surreal season. Sarkisian off to Texas. We certainly wish him well. A masterful job calling plays again tonight. Well, our team is proud to persevere and bring you broadcasts all season long. We dealt with a lot of stuff, as all of you have, and it was a season of isolation and detachment for us as well, but we're proud to make it through to the finish line, and we thank you for hanging with us. Game produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For our entire crew, for John and Gary up in the booth, for Mark Amento, Mike Black, Darren Brown, Bill Lamagna helping us out all season long, for Maria, for Allison, for Kirk Herbstreit, and our entire team here in Miami. Chris Fowler saying so long. The Tide take their rightful place as national champions again. 18th time in school history, 7th in the last 13 years, and a 7th for Nick Saban. To Scott Van Pelt.
Chris, thank you. We'll get back to you for some more thoughts on